All right. People are saying yes. Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your help. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Really. Thank you. I really appreciate so much your help. All right. Good. So we will start in 1 minute, everyone. Please. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We will start in 1 minute. Okay? All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your help. I really appreciate that. All right. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So, guys, 1 minute and then we can start. Okay. We will start at 7 p.m. GMT plus one. Okay. GMT plus one. That's Tunisia time, Germany time, Switzerland time. So I hope people can adjust their clocks based on the GMT plus one. All right. Good. Good. So let's try to have a fruitful evening together, everyone. So we still have 1 minute and few seconds to start. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for your help. Okay. I really appreciate that. Really. Thank you so much. Good. Good. I really appreciate that. All right, everyone. Few seconds. We will start in few seconds. Okay. We will start in few seconds. All right, everyone. We will start in a few seconds. Everyone who has just joined, we will start in a few seconds. Okay. All right. All right. Good. It's 7 p.m. sharp. So, hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this free uh, exam preparation training or course for the PMI PMOCP certification, the PMI Project Management Office Certified Professional. I'm really glad that I can see a lot of people joining this free exam preparation training. I think many of them even joined the free PAP training, which we had at the beginning of the year. I'm really so glad, of doing this together. I've been really looking forward to it. To be honest, because we like really sharing. We like sharing with the community. The community deserves it. The community has been so active. They've been so generous, sharing knowledge, helping each other. So we're doing this as part of our effort to strengthen the project management community, to share, or to give back. Actually, to give back to the community, because without this community, we couldn't be, whatever we are right now. Your support, your dedication, your follow up with our posts, your encouragements, they've been tremendous, really, in the past year. And in the, I'm talking just about 2025. I don't want to go back to the previous years because it's been the same, each year. I really appreciate so much everyone's support. So it was like probably a few months ago when we took the decision that we really want to share this free course training with everyone. Why? That's because we think that the project management office has become something so important and fundamental, okay? Fundamental in the project management practice, really. Myself, I've been working in the project management for the past almost 2 decades. Okay, and I remember my first job when I started at in the first company where I worked. It was IBM. My first job was a PMO. I was a project management officer. The role officially was called PMO. Of course, the definition of the PMO back then in 2007, 2008, it's different than it is right now. And we will see that on one of the slides. The definition of the PMO has evolved. Okay. Now, PMI started offering this certification lately. Okay, it's quite new with PMI as part of the merger and acquisition with the PMO Global Alliance. Okay, so it's for me, I think it's really such an interesting move, so important because it enhances and enforces the different concepts, disciplines, the understanding of the PMO itself. Okay, so together we're going to have 3 sessions. Okay, each session of 3.5 hours, and in each session we're going to have a break, a 15-minute break. So after almost an hour and 20 minutes, or maybe an hour, yeah, almost like that, or maybe an hour and 25 minutes, we're going to have a break. Okay, of 15 minutes, and then we will continue. I will announce that. Okay, now of course you might want to stick around during each of these 3 sessions for 2 main reasons. Reason one, you will learn a lot, and I really hope, guys, you will appreciate this knowledge being shared with you. Okay, and for the second reason is there is a code which will appear on one of the slides during this session. You might want to write down that code which will appear on one of the slides, and when we reach that slide, I will make sure that I will notify you. I will make sure that I'll let you know, guys, that we have reached the slide with the code, so you can write down that code, and then tomorrow we will share a summary post on LinkedIn with a form. You need to enter your name, surname, email address, and the code. So for you do the same for the 3 sessions. We will have a different form for each session. Right after that, you're entitled to get 2 things from us, even more. Okay, we have a lot of surprises. We announce them always one by one. Okay, first you will get the 10-hour training completion certification. Second, you will get access to 2 full mock exams, which will help you prepare for the PMI PMO CP certification. Of course, there are more surprises. We'll announce them, in the right time. Okay, we already announced the first one. I think we promised everyone. We promised that we will pay for 3 PMI PMOCP exam retakes for 3 people if they take the exam before the end of December, and they don't pass the first time, we're willing to sponsor their second retake. Okay, so just that was a brief introduction of the program. My name is Ahmed bin Hamouda. I'm a project manager. I'm a project management practitioner. Actually, now it's a little broader. I'm a project management practitioner. Since 2007. I love project management so much. I enjoy it, and I try to share with the community on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on other platforms as much as I can, because I'm doing this for the joy. It's a passion, really. Project management is a passion. Okay, so we really hope that you will find this exam preparation course beneficial for you. Just this week, I found time to take the PMI PMOCP exam. I didn't have time before, really. I was so busy, but I took it, and I'm lucky that I took it, right before you guys join this training, because I want to share with you fresh feedback from the exam itself. Okay, now. And this here I'm sharing with you the table of content. Okay. Now in this training, we will have um, 7 chapters to go through. Okay. So first of all, we're going to have an introduction, of the project management office in general. What is PMO in general? Okay, we're going to have that. Okay, then I think the introduction is going to be a little bit long. Okay, but very fruitful, very important. Okay, and I think this introduction itself, it will really clarify a lot of basic concepts. It will help a lot of people clarify many probably misunderstood concepts, or at least align on the new, let's say, vision of the PMO as envisioned by PMI in collaboration with PMO Global Alliance. Then the next 6 chapters, in the second chapter, we're going to look at the PMO value ring. Now, this is the new concept, or the new framework PMI adopted and developed. Okay, and then we will deep dive into that value ring. Okay, we're going to look at the exploration phase, the design, the deployment, how to enhance, and then how to make sure that the value has been really realized. Okay, this is the table of content for our for our 3 sessions. The sessions will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So 3 days: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at the same time at 7 p.m. GMT +1. We will be sharing a different link each time for each session. So we're going to have 3 different Microsoft Teams Town Hall link for each session. Okay. Now, let me tell you this. Now, I think this is so important for everyone to know and to understand. Since we're learning, how to, set up a PMO, and also at the same time, we want to take the exam and we want to pass. So we need then to understand PMI's view on the PMO, PMI's mindset, how PMI perceives the PMO, approach, the PMO as a service provider, the PMO function, discipline, services, etc. Okay, so we need really to understand PMI's mindset. If you want to pass any of PMI's certification exam successfully, is always about understanding how PMI thinks. Okay, and we call that the PMI mindset. Okay, so for PMI, PMOs should always align with the organization's goals, visions, objectives. Okay, and PMO should help the different areas and functions of the organizations to manage the changes or navigate the changes effectively. Okay, in PMI's mindset, PMO has become a service provider. Now, this is something new, guys. It wasn't like this before. And I will tell you, when we reach that slide about the history, I will tell you how it used to be before. I was a PMO in my first job, and in 2 other companies, after I gained some knowledge, in 2 other companies, I was setting up PMO or PMOs with the help of some of the colleagues. And I can tell you, really, PMO's definition and functioning, it has evolved greatly, really. Now, PMO has become a service provider. It should ensure delivery of value to whoever is asking for value from within the organization. Okay, it should enhance alignment. Okay, we will talk about alignment a lot. Aligning the delivery with the objectives, value realization, etc., and making sure that it contributes the organization's success. Now, this is in PMI's mindset. Okay, now, of course, as a PMO, you will deal with a lot of stakeholders, but mainly with the customers. Okay, you will deal a lot with customers. You have to collaborate to make sure you understand as a PMO function, okay, or a PMO area. You need to understand what the customers really want, and you communicate that effectively. All right, so you can have effective governance and make sure that the right decisions are taken, whatever serves the benefit of the organization or of that department, that division, etc. All right. Now, also, the PMOs should adapt and evolve both. Okay, because the needs in the organization are dynamic. They're not static. Okay, they could be changing. All right. So that's in PMI's mindset. And here, guys, since we're preparing for the certification exam, honestly, let me be honest. I wanted this course to be 50-50. 50%, I really want to share best practices of PMO, according to the PMO practice guide, okay, from PMI, and 50% to prepare you for the exam. Even though that's how my colleagues and I structured it, in practice is going to be 80-20, and I will leave it up to you to decide if it was 80% preparing for the exam, 20% sharing valuable knowledge with you, or the opposite. Okay, remember, I will share with you a lot of knowledge about the exam itself. We will go to have tips and tricks, at the end of the chapters, and also at the end of the training. But the certification, the exam certification, or the certification exam, it assesses your ability to really apply the PMO's recommended practices from PMI. Now, maybe you have knowledge with PMO. Maybe right now you're working as a PMO. Maybe you have experienced different types of PMOs and you have this different PMO experiences in different environments. However, I want you to remember that since you want to take this PMI PMOCP certification exam, then you need to answer the questions of the exam according to PMI's recommended practices. Okay? Now, let's go to chapter one, or to have an introduction actually to the PMI PMOCP certification. Now, the PMI PMO certification is a 120 question exam. Okay, you can take it at home and you can take it in a test center. It's up to you. I took it at home and it was really so fluid, so easy. Everything went smooth and fine. All what you need is a laptop, good laptop, reliable internet connection, your ID, not expired one, a valid ID, okay, with your name written in Latin letters, okay, and that's it. And that's it. Just a chair and a table, and it's pretty easy. Take it at home. We talk about that in a while, okay? The exam's duration is 165 minutes, okay? Passing score, PMI never reveals any passing score for any certification. However, most experts think that the passing score is around 65%, plus minus. We don't know. No one knows. The exam fees are $459 for certain regions. It can go lower to $333 for certain regions. Again, I repeat, for certain regions, okay, and that's a member price. Again, you have to check the price, for your region. This is mostly for developing countries, mostly. Now, the certification has to be maintained every 3 years, so you have to, submit professional development units, like prove that you're continuously applying what you have learned after you get the certification, of course, okay, that you're constantly learning, upgrading your knowledge, your skills. I have created a video about how you can earn PDUs, and I have shared it on YouTube. We can provide you with PDUs. We have a lot of free courses, many free courses, which provide you with PDUs. You can, and actually, from this training, you will get 10 contact hours or 10 PDUs, depending if you have already a certification from PMI or not. Renewal fee is $150 standard everywhere. It can be lower for certain regions. Now, since the exam is 120 questions, so it means you have 2 hours and 45 minutes. 165 minutes. Now, the exams, broken down as following. You will have 60 questions. Okay. Once you finish the 60 questions, you're entitled for a 10-minute break. Okay. Again, the same, whether you take it in a test center or you take it at home, in both cases, you're entitled for a 10-minute break. I definitely recommend you take the break. Definitely. Okay. And then 60 other questions. All right. So this is how your exam is broken down. Of course, you probably know PMI. PMI offers a bunch of certifications. The most famous certification offered by PMI is the PMP certification, but for entry level certifications in project management, there is the CAPM, the Certified Associate in Project Management. There is the Agile Certified Practitioner, the Scheduling Professional, mainly for people in construction and other areas with strong scheduling skills, the Professional Business Analysis, the Risk Management Professional, the Advanced certifications such as Program Management Professional, Portfolio Management Professional, etc. And by the way, in the PMI PMOCP exam, there will be a couple of questions touching on programs, on portfolios. Just a couple, really. This is a PMO exam, purely PMO exam. It's got very nice mindset. I really enjoyed the exam. I'm going to share as much as I can with you throughout these sessions, but also mainly in session 3. Mainly in session 3, I'm going to share with you dedicated tips and tricks for the exam. Okay? Now, surprisingly, the number of the PMI PMOCP certification holders is increasing, and it is not what the regions with the biggest number of certification holders is not what it used to be. For example, right now, if you search for on PMI's registry, the countries with the highest number of PMP holders, no, there is China first, America second, Canada third, etc. Saudi Arabia fifth or sixth, probably fifth already. Japan is sixth, etc. However, it's different now. With PMI PMOCP, the importance is increasing. Okay, a lot of people are paying attention to it. Okay, and now Saudi Arabia seems like it's leading the way. Okay, it seems like, to be honest, according to our research, seems like Saudi Arabia is leading the way with almost 1,000 certified people of PMI PMOCP. Okay, Egypt comes second, surprisingly. United States comes third. Okay, 800 for Egypt, 650 almost for United States. Brazil, that's where it started from. The famous Americo Pinto. Okay, he's probably the founder or one of the founders of the PMO Global Alliance. Okay, big respect, big salute to Americo Pinto. He was so generous. He was in our podcast on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. He was so generous. He shared a lot of valuable information with us. And honestly, I'm going to say this. Part of the reasons for doing this free training with everyone, sharing valuable knowledge with them, is as a respect to Americo Pinto and everyone in the organization, helping us, supporting, and bringing really valuable knowledge to the project management community. Okay, Canada also, is on the list. United Arab Emirates, China is there, and of course, Tunisia. I come from Tunisia originally. Okay, I know that we have people from all over the world, I think, in this session. So Tunisia, yeah, it's really growing. You see, let me tell you a secret. Now, this PMI CFO, PMI PMOCP certification is almost 10 months old. Almost. Okay, less than a year. And already 33 people in Tunisia certified. Now, let me tell you this. In the first year after the release of the PMP certification, not the first year, probably the first 30 years after the release of the PMP certification, the number of PMP holders in Tunisia was less than 10. Probably until 5 years ago or 7 years ago, it was around just few people, like maybe 30, 50, etc. All right. So I think people now started to really learn and understand the importance of this certification, and most importantly, the knowledge behind it. I really appreciate the knowledge behind it a lot. Okay. Now, what are the PMI PMOCP prerequisites? Now, people who are used to PMP, they know it. You need to have a secondary degree, like probably a bachelor's degree, okay, maybe a high school diploma, a secondary degree generally, okay? And you need to prove that you have 3 years of project-related experience within the last 8 years, all right? So, like, 3 years of project management practice, all right? Or if you are a PMP certified, then you don't need to apply. You don't need to submit an application. For example, I am PMP certified, and when I submitted the application for the PMI PMOCP, I did not need to, submit an application. Actually, I just, I tagged I ticked the box about my education, and then it says, "Oh, you're PMP certified. We waive the application for you." And of course, you need to prove that you have taken the 10-hour training. Well, everybody should do. So you need to have that training, whether you're PMP certified or not. All right. Now, when you're submitting your application, we go through that. We definitely recommend that you be as honest as possible. Project duration don't overlap. You shouldn't have any overlapping period between projects, because the calendar year has got only 12 months. You should, just have a 12 month of experience in one calendar year. I recommend not to put many projects. Maybe 2 or 3 are enough. Okay, don't put technical tasks. Put project management office related tasks, which you will learn from this training. Okay, whatever tasks you will learn from this training, you put that. Okay, remember, always 10% of the applications are audited. What does audited mean? It means, the application is randomly selected for audit. Okay. And you just need to provide some documentation. And again, we have a video on our channel on YouTube which explains how to pass the audit. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Everything is really so smooth with PMI. Really, I appreciate the experience with PMI, whether it's related to PMP, PMO, CP, to any certification. This organization has grown mature. It's really, I mean, I've been a PMI fellow, not officially fellow, not the title, that prestigious accreditation, but I've been, working on the PMI's methodologies and approaches since 2007, and I really think it's really improving and consistently growing. And I appreciate the leadership at PMI who are driving this forward. I really appreciate the leadership at PMI. Okay, now, when you're applying for the PMI, PMOCP, of course, you need to log your academic education. Like, for example, if you have a bachelor's degree, when did you take it? Where did you study? This is just a fictive account, okay? This is not a real account. This is our fictive account, which we use for demonstrations, okay? Where did you study? You have secondary degree, and then your professional education. Now, all of you, right after you finish these 3 sessions with us, we will have the sessions on Monday this week, Wednesday this week, Friday this week at 7 p.m. GMT plus one, the same time. Okay. Then next week we will start delivering your certifications. Just if you manage to finish the entire sessions, write down the code on a piece of paper, and tomorrow you fill out the form, which we will share with you in the summary post. But please remember, in order to qualify for the 10-hour completion certification, you need to like and share the summary post. That's a prerequisite. Okay, so we will share that in a slide in a moment. So in order to get the 10-hour completion certification, you really need to have, there are two simple prerequisites. One, like and share the summary post, because it includes the summary about this session. All right, so in total we will have 3 summary posts. And second, in the summary post, besides the summary and the recording of the session, but the recording will not include the code, there will be a link for a form, a Google form, in which you just need to enter your name, surname, email address, and put the code. So then you can, we make sure that you really have attended, that you really deserve the 10-hour certification. Yeah, completion certification. Now, of course, for the PMI PMOCP application, it's very similar to the PMP. If you're knowledgeable or acquainted with PMP, you have to write down or enter 3 months, total 3 months of project management knowledge. Like, which projects did you manage, which methodology. We have a video for you. The good news is we have a video for you. You go to our YouTube channel, you write, Ahmed Ben Hamouda, PMP application, you get the video, is the same. We even have prepared a template for you to help you understand what type of tasks PMI would like to see in your application, to show that you really have practiced project management. Okay. Now, this is the slide I talked to you about how to earn the 10-hour training completion certification. You need to like and share the summary post, which will be shared after each of the 3 training sessions. And then in each summary, so since we have 3 sessions, there will be 3 summary posts. And in each summary post, there will be a form in which you need to enter the code, which we will see in one of the slides during this training. When we reach the slide with the code, I will notify you. I will tell you, hey guys, there is something you want on this slide. The same, rehearsal or the same drill we had with the PMP. Okay. By doing so, you will get access to 2 full PMI mock exams as well, and you earn the training completion certification. All right. So please don't miss the summary posts. We will share them on LinkedIn. You check my profile. Check my profile on LinkedIn. Tomorrow, you will see that we have shared the summary post. So you just like and share that summary post. All right. Okay, and as I said, in case you're selected for audit, all you need to do is upload your diploma, your secondary degree, your training certification from us, and add the reference for each project, like just an email address of a person who can, confirm that you have worked, in that particular function, and that's it. We have a video which explains that, and it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Okay, now. You can take the exam whether at home or in a test center. We explain that, and we have a video on YouTube which explains to you that. So don't worry about it. We can add all of those links in comments in one of the summary posts, or probably in most of them. Okay. Now, when you take the exam, whether in a test center or at home, actually you get immediate preliminary results. Okay, so when I took the exam on Tuesday, I think, on Tuesday this last week, right when I clicked submit results, immediately it showed me, it said, congratulations on earning your PMI PMOCP certification. So, you get preliminary results, whether you took the exam at home or in a test center, right? Now, Now, here's the slide you wanna pay attention to. Now, here's an important slide. No. There is no code. The code is not now. Don't worry about it. Okay, you have to attend the entire session so you can see the code. Now, here's a very important slide. Every PMI's certification is based on what we call the examination content outline. It's a PDF. You find it, attached to every certification on PMI's website. So, when you head over to PMI's website, you click on any certification from the core or the specialized certifications, you will find an ECO, an exam content outline PDF, which explains, what's the structure of the exam, the domains of the exam, what are the tasks you'll be asked about, etc., etc. All right. So there are 6 domains, for the PMI PMO CP exam. Okay. The first domain is organizational development and alignment. That accounts for 16% of the exam questions. So the exam questions are 120 questions. Okay. So you multiply that by 16%, you get nearly like around 30, around 18, maybe 19 questions, around maybe 20. Okay. PMO strategic elements, that domain accounts for 18% of the questions, almost 22 questions, PMO design and structuring, that's again 18%. The PMO operation and performance, that's 15% of the exam questions. The PMO enhancement and effectiveness, that's 18%. And the people, yes, when I was reading the ECO, I read, the different domains, and I didn't see the people at the beginning. I said, oh, okay, how can that be possible? Now, I know PMI's mindset. I know PMI favors people a lot. Okay, we need to give a lot of importance, a big importance to PMO. Actually, later on, I found out that actually I missed to see one domain, which is people. People accounts for 15%. We cannot do this. We cannot do the PMO setup, the PMO transition, the PMO elevation, the PMO mindset shift without people. Okay, whether it's customers, whether it's the PMO leadership, we call the PMO leadership or the PMO leader. We will see that later. We need to have people. It's so important. Okay, so this is a very important slide. We will cover that throughout this presentation. By the way, this presentation is not big. It's nearly 270, maybe 280 slides. Okay, around that, less than 300, maximum 300. Okay, so now here we go in details. Now this is so important. All right. Now the first domain, which is organizational development and alignment, which accounts for 16% of the exam, you have 4 tasks. Okay, you will be tested on 4 tasks, and we will cover all of them in this training. All right. So how to elevate the organizational project management? I think it makes sense for everyone that we definitely, that's why we want to have PMOs in the first place. We want to elevate the project management, function or practice. Okay. Shape the organizational project management culture. Of course, makes sense again. Drive organizational project management maturity. Yes. Let's go to, more mature level, and then cultivate organizational project management capabilities. Absolutely. Okay. For the second domain, which is the strategic elements, 18%, we will have 3 tasks. The how to architect the PMO strategy, how to steward the PMO mandate, and how to establish and maintain the PMO governance. And this is a pretty important one, actually. There were few questions about it in the exam. Now, the third domain, which is about the PMO design and structuring. Now, there are also 4 tasks. Who are the PMO customers? How to identify them? How to manage them? Okay, how to know them? The existing ones and the potential ones. Okay. Second task is orchestrating different solutions to address the customer needs. Again, you see, we're getting closer to PMI's mindset, serving value to the customers. Serving value to the customers. Okay. Task 3 is about articulating and evolving the PMO value proposition. All right. Yeah, that's an important part of this training. And the fourth task is how actually to design and implement PMO services. We're going to have these nice tables with different services, from PMO. I really want you to pay attention to that. It's so important. It's going to help you a lot. Now, the fourth domain, this is the PMO operation and performance. When it's delivering, actually, onboarding the services, managing the services, and managing the resources. Okay, of course, PMO. All right. The fifth domain, which is about enhancement and effectiveness, optimizing the service performance. Okay, making an assessment, and in order to improve the service maturity, assessing and improving the team competencies. Absolutely, again, going back to people. Okay, and optimizing the PMO value. Okay, because we're going to see there is a challenge. Not everyone in the organization sees the PMO the same way. Not everyone observes or understands the PMO the same way. Different understanding, different needs, different requirements, different people. Yeah, that creates this excitement. I don't call it challenge. No, no, no. Excitement. Really. I take it positively. It's absolutely excitement. Really. I love this. I love seeing companies with PMO because it's evolving, it's really creating and delivering value. Last domain, people. How to have a value-driven mindset. Okay, make sure that we have a customer-centric mindset and approach, so we can, improve the interpersonal relationships. How to elevate the personal impact and effectiveness, leverage technical skills, so we can deliver the expected results, and of course, contribute to shaping the organizational direction. Really, the PMO is at the heart of the organizations. It's serving great purpose now, and is bringing great value. All right? Good, 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 good. So that was an introduction to the certification. That was very important. Now, after we have gone through that, now let's have the first chapter, chapter one, which is the introduction chapter, not to the certification now. No, no, no. This is an introduction to the PMO project management office. Okay, we're going to have 6 sections in this chapter. Section 1, the foundations of the PMO. Section 2, the different PMO models and perspectives. Section 3, the PMO services, functions, value delivery. Okay, this is so important, really, guys. We really need to pay attention to that. Please don't miss that at all. Okay, section 4, PMO as a service provider. My colleague knows that I love this section 1.4 probably the most. Okay, PMO, sorry, section 1.5, leadership, PMO leadership. By the way, let me tell you this. In the PMI PMOCP certification exam, every question, seriously, every question puts you in the position of a PMO leader. See, when we take the PMP exam, the exam puts us in the position of a project manager. So you're a project manager, you're doing this and that. Or a project is about this and this. What should the project manager do? The PMP is about the project manager. The PGMP is about the program manager. The PFMP is about the portfolio manager. The PMI, PMOCP is about the PMO leader. You will see it in every single question. As far as I remember, 120 questions, all of them they were about the PMO leader, because it's a different mindset, it's a different function, it's a different area of the project management, or the project management office actually, or the project management function in the organization. Okay, so PMO leadership and their competencies, what kind of skills they need to have, and how to measure the maturity level and improve maturity. Okay, let's start with the first section, which is the foundations of the PMO. I think you need to pay attention to this. Okay. No, not the code. The code. Not yet. Not the code. No, 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 no. The code is not now. Okay. So I don't have to repeat that. But because really, as a practitioner of project management office or project management, I think this section is helpful. We go to see definition of PMO, their origins and evolution, the role of the importance, how PMO a diverse and flexible entity, very important one, and how it aligns with organizational strategy. Okay. All right. Now, what is the definition of a PMO? Project Management Office. Okay. Uh, uh, PMO actually, these are entities, organizational entities. When I used to work in companies, PMO was departments, not a department, departments. Now, really, it's we had the departments of PMO. It can be also teams. All right. Now, before when I started my career in project management, 2007, PMO actually was a setup of different teams who are working, or defined as PMO, so they could provide templates project management methodology training, provide support, verify the compliance of the projects and the project managers, the different organizational process sets or guidelines or project management approach methodology. Also, if all the project managers documentation was stored up to date, according to the configuration plan, and also sometimes the PMO took, over or took the leadership on some projects, etc. So that was the traditional definition. All right. Now PMOs. Now the definition has shifted a bit. Okay, they've become now strategic partners. Okay, they are there to centralize activities. These activities, whether they're related to portfolios, and that's really, you're going to have a lot of questions in the PMP exam about this, programs or projects. Okay, so actually the mindset, there is a shift. Okay, like the PMO is the center of whatever we're doing in project management, because portfolios, programs, and projects all fall into, okay, portfolio is more on a strategic level, but programs, projects all fall in what we're delivering, in our project management profession to help achieve the organization's goals, objectives. So with PMO, we address inefficiencies, inconsistent models, and also we establish governance. Okay, try to eliminate the gaps in governance so we can improve project success. We ensure strategic alignment and the proper use of resources. Okay, so PMO now is there to really to ensure all of that. All right, so we can see. Let me put it in one sentence. PMO is there to help the organization achieve its objectives. So how to do that? That's what we're going to learn together in these three sessions. Okay, so PMO is not quite new. Okay, now it's just the PMO. The CP certification is quite new, okay, but PMO has been there since decades. Okay, at the beginning, in the early foundations, I think it was with the U.S. military. Because it's very advanced in project management. There was basic establishment of PMOs. It had basic approaches, basic structures to just, to oversee large complex projects. Then that was the early foundation. Then in the control era, all right, PMO was more of a control. It focused on control, making sure that there is discipline, that projects are following guidelines, that templates are being used, enforcing schedules, budgets, etc. Then the methodology boomed in the 90s. Okay, he started standardizing methods, tools, ensuring professionalism in the project management departments. Okay, and even introduced the use of some software. Okay, and then strategic shift started in the years 2000. I joined there. I joined there. I joined in 2007, and I could see that strategic shift. Okay, it was a shift to more of a strategic alignment, more of an enterprise-wide oversight. Slowly, depends on the maturity of the organization. Not all organizations were the same. Really, I've experienced this. Some organizations were so advanced, like for example, where I worked, IBM was so advanced, PMO was so advanced. Yes, it was almost overseeing the entire organization one way or the other. Okay, in some other organizations, PMO was more about providing support, templates still, but at least it existed. Then in the years 2010 and after that, of course, there were more the appearance of more agile PMOs. Probably we know why. Probably we know because of the Agile Manifesto, which was incepted in 2001, but then it reached fame starting 2011. 2011. It's become more popular. So companies started looking at different hybrid models of how to have the traditional PMO, but at the same time with the agile delivery mindset. It's a challenge for some organizations, but still it was possible after some time. Okay, however. The focus in the past, let's say 5 to 10 years, it's become on a value-driven era. We call it the value-driven era. Now, yes, the organization's shift changed. Now to focus on how to deliver value. Have a strategy for the execution, for the implementation execution, because the whole world now. You see, let me tell you this. 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, the whole world was talking agile. However, 2024, 25, the whole world is talking about value. Wherever there is value, we need to chase it, we need to find it, identify it, confirm it, create it, deliver it, and confirm it. Okay, like or yeah, confirm its realization. Now, and that applies also to PMOs, and this is a very very important part of PMI's mindset in this certification. Okay. Now, PMO is really vital. Okay, it's a link. PMO is a strategic link. Now, it links between the executive vision. Now we have the C-suite executives, the CEO, the COO, the CPO, CMO, the CITO, etc. They have a vision. We call that the executive vision, and that executive vision, it has to turn into operational execution. We need to execute. We need to have operations. Like it could be projects, it could be different initiatives. Okay, so the PMO is the strategic link, and it adapts to whatever the organization's size, structure, the needs of the industry, the maturity model, etc. However, PMO is there. The role has been fundamentally, or the role definition has been fundamentally changed, okay? Because it will link between vision and execution, right? Now, there is not only one type of PMO, and I really, really like this slide and the next slides, okay? There are many types of PMO. You can have agile PMO, delivery PMO, control. There are almost 30 types of PMO, even more. Like, you have all of them on this slide. Operational PMO, divisional PMO, consultative PMO, departmental PMOs, transformation management office, hybrid PMO, directive PMO, supportive PMO, delivery PMO, enterprise-wide PMO. We call this the ePMO. I had a few questions on that in the exam. The project support office, for functional PMOs, innovation PMO, portfolio management PMO, control tower PMO, value management office, yes, or value delivery office. We had that in the PMBOK 7, sort of, somehow. Okay, tactical PMO, program management office, project management center of excellence. I used to work in that. I used to work on that at IBM. And any other types of PMO. That's why you have the XMO. You name it. You name it. Okay, it could be in any department, in any division, in any industry. You name it. You just replace the X with whatever you want, and you have your office right there. Okay, PMO is context specific. Absolutely, it's structured the fears. Okay, we can look at some of them in details. Like for example, the Agile PMO. Okay, its main function is to support the implementation of different agile mindset, methodologies, and principles. Controlling PMO, this one, it enforces compliance with the project management standards and frameworks. Now, this dates back, like it goes back to the early PMO models, okay? Directive PMO, it has got a high level of control, it assigns project managers, it actively manages projects in mature organizations, okay? Well, these are the basic PMO types probably, okay? Enterprise PMO, it operates at the entire enterprise level. And it's got organization-wide authority, okay? It oversees and coordinates different PMO functions across different departments and divisions. Functional PMO, this one, it manages projects within specific department, okay? And in close collaboration with probably some functional managers or functional areas like finance, like, marketing, like HR, etc. Hybrid PMO, it integrates different or multiple PMO types. Whatever fits the organization needs. All right. Innovation PMO. Yeah, this one is important nowadays. It drives experimentation. It encourages innovation. It actually makes sure that the environment is set properly to drive innovations through and deliver value. All right. And it makes sure that there are no obstacles for the innovations, for whatever innovation initiatives are. Okay. So it encourages a culture of innovation and agility. And that's a really important one. Okay. Operational PMO. This one, it focuses on daily project execution and tactical needs because it's operational. Whatever brings money right now, operational, day-to-day work. We call the BAU, the business as usual. We call it the business as usual, the BAU. Portfolio management office. Now that started gaining momentum. Portfolio management office started gaining importance because many companies realized that, actually, we need to have the work structured in portfolios, then broken down into programs, then down to projects, and down, different other types of work. Okay, this holds the top authority in governance. It prioritizes investments, initiatives, makes sure that resources are are aligned and available for aligned with the strategy and available. Okay, the program management office comes a little down from the broken down from the portfolio one. These manages and their dependencies on program level. Okay, supportive PMO we talked about earlier. It provides tools, templates, provides training to the different project management practitioners. It has a minimum like a low control, but it's so important. Let me tell you a secret. I started as a supportive PMO. Yes, my first role was a supportive PMO. Many people thought, I remember when I was at IBM, everyone hated to be a supportive PMO. Whenever people wanted to join project management, they wanted to join immediately as a project manager or junior project manager or project delivery manager, whatever. But not as a PMO. Actually, I joined as a supportive PMO, and I appreciated that experience because from that experience, I learned a lot of tools and techniques which helped me later on in properly and successfully managing the different projects and programs and initiatives I worked on. Strategic PMO, it ensures alignment of projects with the strategic goals, overseeing prioritization of different initiatives and the proper allocation of the resources for these initiatives in order to achieve these strategic goals. Tactical PMO, it coordinates the different related projects to ensure there's a consistency in project management. Okay, so these are basic, we just want to define probably I think 10 of them or 11 of them out of 30. Okay, now PMO we mentioned it a few times. It should be aligned with organizational strategy. Yes. Okay. There should be strong leadership engagement. There is a need to talk to senior leaders regularly to understand their needs. Okay. Also, which initiatives are the most important. Okay. There should be strategic mapping and prioritization. All right, reviewing the different maps, different project maps, make sure that these different projects will support the achievement of the organization's goals. Now, please wait. Before you think I'm repeating some of the stuff I'm saying, let me tell you this. Each slide counts and each slide is important. And in the exam, you will have 5 to 10 questions just about strategic alignment. Yes, and that's why we need to touch on this topic from different angles. Okay, all right. Now, deciding which projects to prioritize. All right, projects are prioritized based on their impact, but most importantly, based on whatever value they bring. Okay, so that's how projects are prioritized by the PMO in the organization. Okay, now PMO should also be adaptive. We should have adaptive governance and adaptive methodologies. Okay, so there should be PMO should adapt with the different models. Okay, different methodologies that exist. Right. Then also tracking the KPIs. Mainly the strategic performance KPIs are tracking the performance. Okay, so make sure that PMO keeps an eye on changes. Tracks the progress using different KPIs. The KPIs will be set by according to the needs, according to the context of the different initiatives, but definitely there should be a way how to measure them. All right, and finally, alignment with organizational strategy also in terms of communication. Okay, PMO or PMO teams, they should set clear communication strategy and make sure that information is shared fluidly, transparently, on time, etc., because that's very, very, very important. Communication is extreme, to align different leaders, different customers, etc. Sorry, what happened here? Okay, let's have a well, let's have a question here. It's a small test question. We will have a few questions throughout this training in different sections. Let's have a question here. An organization established a PMO to enforce project management standards across its projects. As the company grew, it became clear that aligning projects with the company's strategic goals and managing the entire project portfolio was becoming increasingly important. Okay, so what should the PMO do to ensure its continued success and sustainability? All right, so continue focusing solely on enforcing project management standards. Solely, now when I read the word solely, I know it's wrong. So I know this answer is wrong. So now, increase the number of training programs for project managers. Well, that could lead to a lot of cost. I'm not sure that really, ensures the continuity of the success and sustainability. Incorporate portfolio management with strategic alignment. Well, it makes sense. Absolutely, we need to make sure that whatever we're running as portfolios is aligned with with our strategy. Reduce its involvement in project oversight. Oh, absolutely wrong. We don't reduce our involvement as PMOs. Okay. All right. That was for section 1.1. Now, moving on to section 1.2, the different PMO models and perspectives. Okay, we're going to look at the traditional PMO versus the modern one. I think many people are waiting for this slide. Okay, different PMO viewpoints from different people, or different, actually not people, different departments, functions, etc. The supportive, controlling, directive, consultative approaches, reimaging the PMO models, not going with only one size fit model. No, we need to adapt. Okay, the organizational contextual scenarios, the 8 steps in it. We're going to go through that. The signs of transition between scenarios. How do we know if we're going transitioning right or wrong? And limitations and strategic considerations. All right. Now, what's the difference between traditional PMO and modern PMO? Traditional PMOs, they focused on processes. Now, remember this sentence: one size fits all. That's wrong. There is no more one size PMO fits all. No. PMO size, PMO type, structure, functions, services, etc. It has to fit with the organization's needs, organization's context. It has to be customized, tailored. Okay. Traditional PMOs, they were control oriented, controlling what's going on, controlling the projects, the initiatives, the work, etc. There was a lot of administrative and compliance paperwork. It was so driven, okay, compliance driven, administrative. It used to emphasize on standardizing, with the same approaches, the same way of working. It has to be, implemented across all projects. No customization. Okay, and it was enforced, and tools and templates. It's written here rigid. I would say not adaptive. Okay, however, modern PMOs, they focus on strategy. How they're strategic and value focused. How to help achieve the strategy and how to help create the value. Now, I like this. They're customer and stakeholder oriented. See, customer is the centricity of the PMO services, or mindset. I would call it mindset is the more general one. All right. We make sure that we understand what each customer wants and we provide them with whatever service they need to respond to their needs. Okay. So PMO, the modern PMO, is service driven and also is collaborative. Please, guys, you need this slide. There is no code, don't worry, but you need this slide. Okay, so the modern PMO is definitely service driven and it emphasizes collaboration. Okay, it emphasizes flexibility and adaptability. We talked about this, how it should adapt with different structures, needs, etc. And the tools are tailored to whatever the customer's needs are. Okay, the same with the methods, and it's also innovative, right? So this is difference between traditional PMO and modern PMO. All right, because when we're talking about who the potential customers of the PMO are, they could be different departments, different divisions, and each one of them is looking at the PMO from a different angle, depending on their needs. Some of them needs help with risk mitigation, others need some reporting and analysis. Okay, others need some standardized processes, others need support with their projects, others are looking at some finding the strategic alignment, others are looking specifically at resources, etc. So there are different PMO viewpoints, depending on who is looking at the PMO and from which angle. However, depending on the the PMO customer maturity, the PMO approach could be different. Okay, if the customer is less mature, okay, um, maybe the PMO needs to be more managing, having full ownership. No, the further we go towards the higher maturity of the customer, the more the PMO changes its approach. Instead of managing, then maybe controlling. Otherwise, it goes to directive. Okay, with more structured guidance. Then, if the customer is mature, and we will, of course, define who the PMO customers are. We will see that, and we already mentioned that PMO customers are everyone who needs services from the PMO. Then, if the PMO customer becomes more mature, the PMO customer becomes more mature. Maybe the PMO now is more facilitating, like coordinating, supporting, maybe more supportive, being advisory. Okay, provide, or maybe consultative. And this is, when we reach the strategic direction. Okay, so the PMO approach depends on the maturity of its customer or customers. Okay, now we can look a little deeper at these different approaches. Being a consultative, no, let's start from down here. Being a managing PMO means, the PMO manages, fully the portfolios, the programs, when customers cannot manage effectively. Okay, so PMO, the level of control here is high, so high, full control, because the customer's maturity is low, and therefore their autonomy is also minimal. Okay, then controlling PMO, well, that's when PMO regulates, governs processes, especially for high risk or low capability environments. There is no maturity in there. So PMO control is high because the customer maturity and autonomy is low, and therefore the autonomy is low. Directive PMO, it's got standards. It enforces them for customers who have low maturity or limited capability. So the level of the PMO control is high and the customer autonomy therefore is low. However, when things shift, when the customer's maturity becomes moderate, then the PMO is more of a facilitator to enable collaboration, taking decisions together, mainly in cross-functional or complex situations where PMO needs to intervene. So the PMO's level is moderate, up, depends on the situation. And here the customer's autonomy is also moderate. Now, when the customer's maturity becomes higher, then the PMO is best, supporting resources, assist with, the customers with providing assistance to customers who need help. PMO's control is low, customer's autonomy is high, and of course, when we have a very mature customer, PMO is more of a consultative role, providing expert advices to capable, mature customers who can take the decisions on their own, by themselves. So the PMO control is very low and the customer autonomy is very high. Now, who is the customer? Again, these are internal departments, internal divisions, okay, to the organization, mainly internal, mainly. All right. So don't think as a customer mainly as an outsider, as an outside company. No, it's mainly internal, mainly. All right. All right. Good. Now, we cannot, and with the current modern PMO, we cannot have one size fits all PMO. No, actually, PMO, should adapt. The service approach. This defines the PMO's operational style. Whether it's consultative, controlling, directive, and all the approaches, or the approach should be tailored in order to meet the organization's needs. There are different types of functions. Okay, and the functions, they determine the PMO's role in the organization management, in the project management. There can be even combination of various functions depending on the customer needs. And of course, there should be flexible models. You see, this chameleon means like it adapts. The chameleon, it changes colors depending on, the place where it is. So PMO also, it's tailored. Tailors its structure to each organization's unique needs, context. Okay, it promotes flexibility, and also the project management approaches flexibility by themselves as well. Okay, so When installing PMO in an organization, it really depends on the organization's contextual scenarios. Okay, this OCS, the organizational contextual scenarios. I think there was a question or two about it. No, one question. I think the exam when I took it. Okay, it's a framework which views PMOs as dynamic, evolving entities which show potential for learning, resilience. Also, it should be renewal or renewed according to the organization's culture and context. Okay, so transitions according to this model, the OCS model, these 8 steps, from potential, like there's a potential, some foundations needed for having a PMO. Then we can go to kickoff, like initial launch, early steps, early readiness, probably some little shy, etc. Then it grows like a tree. There's expansion, there is some early fruits, early success, until we thrive. Thriving means we reached our peak. There is great performance, there is a delivery of impact, etc. But then there can be crisis. Okay, maybe some turning point, maybe something happened. New leadership changes the needs. PMO did not adapt, did not evolve, changes in technology, etc. That leads to crisis, and even sometimes there could be perception of decline, like different customers. When I say customers, again, think about it as different companies, internal departments, divisions, etc. They could see that PMO is not delivering value anymore. And by the way, in the PMI PMOCP exam, I think there was 3 or 4 questions about this stage here. Like customers, internal customers don't see the PMO as delivering value anymore. Value is eroding. There is not that support to PMO initiatives. Even in some questions, some management or some the leadership, they were even questioning the need to finance PMO or to support PMO anymore. So that decline definitely, after that will come the collapse. Okay, so severe decline, system breakdown. There should be a change, a major change, a shift. That shift is about adapting. Go back to your customers, talk to them, understand what are their needs. Make sure you provide them with what they need. Adapt to their needs. That's what you need. That's part of your resurgence, okay? Your rebirth. How you will recover. You will have lessons learned. You don't want that, when you were thriving here, these steps 5, 6, 7, you don't want them to repeat, okay? So you definitely want to find a way how you adapt, all right, how you go back to thriving again, so you can better serve your customers. Now, transitioning between these 8 different scenarios or steps, it's not straightforward. No, it's not straightforward. There are signs. Some signs mean you're transitioning in the right direction. Some signs, that you're going wrong. Now, positive signs that you're going in the right direction, like when the stakeholders are communicating, they're open, they're engaged, they're support, they understand this. Now, when your stakeholders understand, if I were you, guys, if I were you, if I were to set up a PMO in a company, lead a PMO, I become a PMO leader. One of the first things I would do to my customers, my internal customers, you know what? I will show them this slide. Yes, this one. I will show them this slide. I will tell them, hey, it might happen that I will be going through these slides. Now, of course, maybe I will not start here. Maybe I will start at the kickoff. Maybe, I will find some PMO, existing PMO, and I just need to improve it. Okay. And, shift the mindset to become a value service delivery or a value delivery service oriented PMO. Now, maybe when I join a company, maybe I don't have to start from zero. Maybe I would find it here declining, or in a crisis. Really. Now, when you join a company as a PMO or as a PMO leader, because we need to focus on the role of PMO leader, as in the exam, you need to know, in which stage is the organization right now, in which scenario. Okay, and then you will know how you will, in which stage you are, and how to transition. Positive signs of positive transition. Again, stakeholders engaged. We're improving our performance. We're measuring right. We're doing some improvements. We're getting closer to the strategy. We're aligning. We're becoming more agile. We're adapting to the different needs, different models. Okay, we're innovating actually. The team started to understand, to collaborate, to cooperate. Team's morale become higher, and of course. The good decisions, the right decisions are being taken, and that has got positive influence. However, if you see pushback from the stakeholders, criticism, skepticism, okay, resistance, if your performance is declining, projects not delivering well, all right, the vision or the approach is not aligned with the strategy, processes are not adaptive, they're stagnated, they're rigid, okay, team's morale is low. There is a high turnover, people leaving, people coming, people leaving, people not feeling good about it. Okay, the perception of the PMO is not at the best now. They're shrinking the role somehow. They're reducing the spectrum of the role. That means something is wrong. You need to take action. No. We don't leave. No, we don't leave. We don't abort. No. We don't do that. In PMI's mindset, we stick around. We analyze. Why are we having such symptoms? We do the root cause analysis. If we arrive here, of course, we will do root cause analysis, understand the reasons, talk to the customers, to the stakeholders, understand their needs, understand, put a corrective action, an improvement plan, so we can slowly improve and go back to existence. Okay, so we can research, we can, recover and deliver value. Okay, that's what we do as a PMO. All right. Good. Now, of course, there are some limitations. You need to consider when being a PMO leader, when transitioning through different scenarios and stages. Okay, in these scenarios, the 8 scenarios we saw, they are not necessarily linear. Sometimes you can skip scenarios. Okay, or scenarios can be reordered. Maybe we will not go in this, from 1 to 8 exactly in this flow. No. Maybe we'll jump from 2 to 6, then back from 6 to 1, then from 1 to 4, maybe, okay, maybe, then crisis again, then back to kickoff, etc. Okay, so it's not linear actually. Okay, and also, it's context driven. It must fit the organization. Like for example, a startup PMO, it focuses on speed. Government PMO focuses on compliance. Okay, there can be multiple paths, not only one path. Okay, because research is not the only path. Okay, so recovery is not the only option. For example, PMO can become advisory instead of fully thriving. Okay, there might be overlap also between the scenarios. All right, multiple states at once. Like one for example, in one part, the teams are growing in some areas. In other areas, there is crisis. Okay, also ongoing assessment. Okay, we need to check the progress regularly. Like for example, having monthly reviews. These can reveal some underperforming projects. Okay, so these are some limitations to consider. All right, customization is essential. All right, we need to align with the culture and the goals of the organization. Like, for example, some organizations who are risk averse, they are not risk takers, they don't appreciate risks, they focus on governance to ensure that everything is aligned, everything is proper, following the rules, the guidelines. Okay, however, in some other organizations, they prefer speed because they rely on innovation. So there should be some customization. All right, make sure that you pay attention to that. This is a strategic consideration. All right, and use this model here, the OCS model, use it combined with different KPIs, different dashboards, different surveys. But I think, as I told you guys, if I were a PMO leader right now in an organization, I would take this, print it out, stick it on the walls, so everyone can see it. Everyone can understand that really we will go through different stages. These stages can be overlapping, can be skipped, some of them. etc. And I make sure that my customers, my stakeholders understand this. Okay? All right. Let's have a question. A company's PMO is helping project managers improve delivery timelines while maintaining autonomy in their decision-making process. This is good. They're helping project managers improving timelines. The PMO provides templates, guidance, the best practices, but it avoids directly managing the projects. So which PMO service is this? Okay, which approach aligns with the best with the company's current strategy? Directive, controlling, managed, or supportive? Of course, it's a supportive PMO because it does not get involved directly in managing the projects, but it provides support through templates, guidance, training, best practices, etc. It's not directive, it's not controlling, it's not managed. Okay. All right. Now, let's go to section 1.3, and after the section 1.3, we will take a break. Okay, let's talk about the PMO services, functions, value delivery. Okay, how we transitioned from PMO functions to PMO services. What are the PMO services? The service domains, the value chain, the PMO value chain, benefits of a PMO, and 30 potential PMO outcomes. Okay, let's look at that. Now, um, traditional the PMO functions mainly were about tasks, having control. It's a top down. It's coming from top, from above, down, and just providing basic support, or there is some support there. Now, where the shift has become more on providing services, like in the new definition of the PMO. So the service delivery is flexible now. It really depends on the needs of the customers. There is a lookout, after continuous improvement, how to continuously improve the services of the PMO. I like this. There is a two-way engagement. We engaged with the stakeholders, with the customers. Customers engaged with us. We both are on this together. It's a two-way engagement, and it's called a strategic partnership. Okay, this is now how the PMO is being viewed as a service provider, the service delivery, a new mindset. Maybe some of you are familiar with these, and I would say, well, that somehow fits with PMI's view of different certifications. Yes, because you see, an organization like PMI is shaping the world. Whether we admit it or not, it is shaping the world. No, it's in the news more and more, and it's developing a common mindset that is, then manifested in the different certifications. So yes, the value creation, value delivery, service, etc. Of course, this session, I told you guys, this session, you're gonna enjoy it a lot. Because it helps you understand how it used to be the PMO, how it is right now, and then the next two sessions they will focus on the flywheel. So important, the value ring, the flywheel, so important framework. I appreciate it. Now, PMO can have three main service types: strategic services, tactical services, and operational services. Strategic services, these services should align with the different initiatives, the long-term initiatives, responding to the organizational goals, aligning with the organizational goals, okay, on a strategic level. We will see that in details in a moment. Tactical services, they are mostly about standardizing, okay, projects, optimizing how projects are delivered across the organization. Operational services, that's about the execution, the day-to-day execution, the compliance with the different guidelines, team enablement, etc. Okay, so these are three main pillars of the PMO services. Please remember them, please understand them. Okay, now let's deep dive a little bit into strategic services. Let's look at the most important types of strategic services, like providing advice to executive level, whether it's on a portfolio level, on a program level, on a project level. Okay, providing guidance to make sure that projects are aligned with organizational goals. Benefits realization management. This is on a strategic level to portfolios and programs. Okay, these are the domains, portfolios and programs, to ensure that they deliver the expected business value. Fostering project culture on portfolio, program, project level to promote project management awareness, and collaboration, among portfolios and programs. Governance oversight. Now, this is a very important one. I should have put in red color, honestly. Okay, governance oversight is, it's about ensuring compliance through, installing different governance frameworks on portfolio level, program level, and project level. Okay, organizational change management, like managing change, change impact to ensure there is a smooth transition. This is on the lower level, on the program and project level, because that's where change is driven from. Like, that's, those are the drivers of the changes. Also, on strategic level, linked to directly to portfolio management, because we know portfolios are always on strategic level, overseeing how projects are selected, how projects are prioritized, and how projects are aligned with the strategy. Now, let me tell you this. In the PMI PMOCP exam, there were many questions on ensuring alignment between what, the portfolios once they are defined, projects once they are set up and agreed, approved, with the organization's goals. That plays fundamental role in PMI's mindset. Okay, and this is on portfolio level, and then also there is a strategic planning support for portfolios as well. Okay, to make sure that the planning is aligned with the long-term goals. Okay, these are some of the key strategic services PMO is providing. Now, when it comes to tactical services, in terms of resource management, like capturing, sharing knowledge, lessons learned, best practices on portfolio program and projects. For portfolio and program, picking the methodologies, the frameworks, the standardizing, or the methodologies. Again, but there is always customization, applied to then to projects. Allocating resources, because to optimize and use the optimizing the use of the resources, avoiding conflicts. This is on project levels, because in the PMI PMOCP exam, you will see that how to say it, in many, I think 30 to 40 questions. 30 to 40 questions, it says the project manager needs support. The project manager has got problems. The project manager has got issues. The project manager is stuck. The project is not delivering, etc. You will not answer as a project manager. You will answer as a PMO. You're providing help. You're providing guidance. You're providing training to the project manager so they can do their work properly. Okay, so you would not be the one resolving a conflict between two resources on a project like here, but you will be guiding a project manager on how to do it, show them, providing training, etc. Okay, for systems and tool management, on tactical level, maintaining systems, tools to support the project management activities on portfolio, program, and project levels, and providing, delivering training. Okay, ensuring development to build the project management skills and capabilities which are necessary, to properly run and manage portfolios, programs, and projects. So I think before moving on, you people started understanding that now PMO looks like an overall umbrella covering the project management, different departments, functions, roles, making sure that portfolios, programs, projects are all aligned with the organization's strategy and goals in order to deliver value to the internal customers. Yes, you're close. You're very close. Okay. On operational level, there can be audit assessments on projects, okay, to ensure compliance, that projects are compliant, okay, recommend improvements, be in control of changes to minimize disruption and ensure alignment on project level mainly. You will see that tactical is mainly on project level. Okay, operational. Operational is mainly on project level. Tactical is on program, portfolio, project, etc. But here strategic is mainly on portfolio level, mainly. Okay, not only but mainly. Managing customer relationships, okay, to have a strong relationship with the customers to meet expectations on project level, okay. So making sure that projects really maintain such good relationship with customers to satisfy the customers. Again, mentoring and coaching, providing support to the project teams, okay. Measuring performance on program level, project and program level, okay. Even providing support services, okay. Whatever, planning, coordination support the project manager might need. All right. Again, that goes back to the first role I had in my career. When I told you I was a project support, I was providing support on planning, tracking, coordination, reporting. I was doing that. Okay. There are also some specialized services, right? Like, expert support to certain needs, okay, to certain specific project needs, okay. So these are the main three types of services a PMO provides on strategic level, on portfolio, mainly portfolio, closer the, organization strategy level, tactical, in between, operational, more down on a project level. Please remember this. So the PMO actually is, involved, on these different levels of portfolios, programs, projects, and even organization wide. Okay. So actually, for example, we talked about this on a portfolio level, like, a PMO would provide a strategic oversight of all projects and programs in planning, especially prioritization, and tracking alignment. On program, it's about mainly, ensuring there is a coordinated management of related projects, governance is established, benefits are realized, and on projects, of course, on projects is for, about supporting individual project delivery, making sure. Now, the PMO does not here on projects. The PMO is not supposed to manage projects. The PMO actually is supposed to, ensure the project managers are successful in their projects and delivering what they're expected to deliver. It's what the PMO is supposed to do. Okay? Providing the project managers with everything they need so they can succeed. If you remember it here down on project level, then you will get the idea slowly understanding what does the PMO do probably on a program level and a portfolio level. Okay, here on strategic level, here coordination of different projects, and here is ensuring success on projects. Okay. So the PMO value actually it starts with this defining which services to offer, then selecting the services which depending on the needs of the customers. Customers can be project managers, program managers. These are customers. Yes, these are customers of the PMO. Project managers are customers of the PMO. Program managers the same. Portfolio managers, leaders, the company management. Yes, of course. So then value is delivered. So this is the PMO value chain. We need to increase the business value by adapting the services according to the needs of the customers. Not all project managers have the same needs, okay? And the PMO has got to understand that and has got to adapt to that. Adapting, being agile, adapting, okay? So, what benefits can we have, by having a PMO? Honestly, I think many companies need to look at this slide. This slide can help many companies know that, as an organization, the PMO can help increase the success rate of the projects because the PMO they will help project managers and program managers pick the right approach, provide them with whatever they need in terms of support, templates, methodologies, even provide adequate training, keeping up with the best trends, etc. The PMO can ensure that whatever initiatives there are in the company, they're aligned with the strategy. PMO ensures agility. Now, let me tell you this. I have witnessed many companies whose projects were failing. You know why? Because the project managers were not adaptive. The project managers did not know how to deliver projects, did not change the way they work. So there was no agility. Okay, there was no agility, and therefore PMO is there to ensure agility. PMO can help reduce cost by eliminating waste, by making sure resources go to the right place.
PMO really can support a lot, in making sure that project managers focus on tasks, on work that provides value, initiatives. The PMO can ensure success of initiatives. Ensuring success of initiatives can reduce costs. How many projects failed? You, yourself, you people who are with me on this training, how many projects or failing projects did you witness? A lot. Why? Because projects did not align with with company needs, company strategy, did not adapt. Projects did not take into consideration many constraints, did not have the best approaches, best templates, best practices. So PMO is there to support that, to ensure that. Okay, so project managers manage projects. PMO makes sure that the project managers have got everything they need so they can succeed. Okay, it even enhances responsiveness on a organization level. For the executive leadership, like executive management, bosses, the big bosses. Okay, big bosses can have timely data. Okay, so they can take informed decisions. So I have seen, really, I'm not kidding. I have seen in many companies, bosses, the big bosses who don't know which initiatives are there in the company, what is the stage of each initiative. There is no centralized data, no centralized view. People can do that. Okay, people can help optimize portfolios, making sure that we pick the right decisions, pick the right investment decision. Sorry, pick the right investment decision. Okay, therefore we can have a high satisfaction, in terms of executive leadership, because leadership, they can see what's going on, they have insights, and they can track the performance. All right. For portfolios, programs, and projects, I think we talked about that. Having PMO means having guidelines, support, best practices. Some of them will be standardized, some of them will be customized. Training is in place. How many project managers join a company and they don't receive proper training? They don't know which methodology to follow, which approach, which tools to use, which templates, where to store documentation, what to do in case of problems, who to escalate to. Yes, exactly. Those problems are solved by having a PMO. Okay. Also, how many project managers struggle with their project resources? Okay, or some project managers are fully loaded, fully utilized. Others are not, managing proper projects, are not being fully utilized. Okay, so there is a resource optimization, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so all of that can be supported by having a PMO. Really, a PMO is such a fundamental function, and having a PMO can bring a lot of benefits to the organization. Okay, PMO, and by having a PMO, there can be many valuable outcomes or potential outcomes, like better availability of skilled resources. Okay, in terms of projects and programs, on a medium and long term. Okay, because we're providing training, and we're responding to the needs. Better organizational change management. Okay, like structured change practices, smooth transitions, less disruption, which is so important. Okay, and we can see benefits on a medium to long term. All right, better control over project teams. Even the reporting structure is clearer. Everyone knows what they're accountable for. Okay, better definition of roles and responsibilities. These are potential PMO outcomes. Okay, roles are defined. Team members understand their duties. All right. Also, there is probably better project prioritization based on their strategic value to optimize resource use. Okay, better quality of project results. Okay, and that's so important. I think everyone wants this: early results, quick wins, quick results, but with higher quality, effective ones. Okay, deliver high quality results to meet or even exceed expectations, starting on a short-term gains, which we call quick wins, and then have consistency. Quality takes medium and long terms. Okay. Also, some of the potential PMO outcomes: having better talent management. Okay, which would developing talents to better suit with the development of our strategies. effective knowledge transfer, facilitating knowledge sharing and best practices. We used to do that, at some of the companies where I worked. You see the senior project managers or the project managers who were before us, they shared their lessons learned, their practices, so we could learn from them. Okay. Also, there is enhanced decision making. I think this is very important. Having timely, accurate information, it helps take the right decisions, uh, and improve processes and outcomes. Enhanced customer experience. All right, delivering on time, on quality to meet or exceed customer expectations. Make sure they're satisfied and they're loyal to us. Enhancing resource management. Okay, optimizing resource allocation. Also, there will be greater alignment with strategic objectives. We talked about that. Greater integration among organizational areas. This is very important one. Yes, having collaboration across different departments, divisions for more cohesive execution. All right. There will be also higher return on investment. Of course, every company would like to have good financial returns, and this can be, realized by having aligned projects with the benefits management plan, with the business cases, who fall right into the strategic goals. Okay. Also, the availability of information, it will be improved. Okay, it will be on time, it will be accurate to help with decision making, improving collaboration and communication, okay, among teams and stakeholders, improving organizational commitment to results. Yes, commitment, that's an important one. Okay, being accountable, foster on achieving aligned project outcomes, improving budget management. I think most companies want that. Okay, stricter and tighter budget controls, keeping projects within budgets. If we manage to have a PMO who really sets up a whole system, an entire system, to keep projects within budgets, that would be the best PMO in the eyes of many, many companies, because these PMOs are providing project managers with whatever they need, are overseeing their projects, probably being closer to projects. I don't want to say control, but closer, to make sure that projects stay within budgets. If we have PMO who can do that, that would be perfect. Be perfect. Okay. Improved customer relationships. Yes. We wish to have a PMO who can help us, have better relationships with customers. Okay, by having effective communication, resolving conflicts, ensuring consistent performance. Okay, improved performance management. Yes, we want to track performance. We want to improve performance. Identify issues early. Ensure success delivery or delivery success. Yeah, exactly. Okay, improving even the success rates. Yeah, it's related to the previous one. Okay, projects complete on time, within budgets, within objectives, to boost organizational success. Yes, if we can have a PMO who can really increase our project success rate, wow, wow, they will definitely get a medal on, okay, a gold prize. Reliability of information. If we are sure and certain that the data we have are reliable, that will ensure that we're taking the right decisions. Stakeholder engagement, okay? Having a PMO, it can help, engage stakeholders throughout the project life cycles, meet their needs and expectations, and have them engaged properly, not just on project levels, but mainly we start with the project level. Okay, improving the organizational learning experience. Okay, promoting continuous learning, sharing lessons learned, hosting events for sharing knowledge, return on experience, etc. Why not? Okay. Also increasing productivity on projects. Okay. You see, sometimes some projects are not efficient on projects. They lose a lot of time. They waste a lot of time. Okay. Other project managers actually are efficient. Why are they efficient? Because there is an efficient PMO behind them. They know how to utilize their time. If you ever met a project manager who does not waste time in meetings, on documentation, in discussions, whose documentation are up to date, etc., that project manager is very productive, and behind that project manager, there is an efficient PMO. Okay. Also, having higher visibility on project progress. Okay, to have informed stakeholders, to keep them aligned. The more your stakeholders are informed, the more they keep up with the project and they're engaged. They don't give up. Okay, more accurate forecasting. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is an important one. Really. Company leadership, they always want to have proper and accurate forecasting. Now, if we have a PMO in house who's got centralized data, is very informed about all projects, is doing what they're supposed to do, then we can have reliable data, reliable methods for better forecasting, and be sure that we have done the right forecasting. Okay, and the last slide about the potential PMO outcomes, of course, reducing the exposure to risks by early identification and assessment of risks, mitigating them with comprehensive strategies, having stronger governance and compliance. Of course, everybody wishes this because having project managers who are compliant, their projects are compliant. That will make sure that we're really compliant with whatever regulations, policies, and increases the acceptance rate, okay, of the projects. And of course, everyone wishes that the project's life cycle could be reduced, okay, by streamlining the processes, adapting, leaning the processes to complete projects faster, deliver results sooner, and have results. Because I think I'm gonna say something. I think everyone knows it. Yeah. How many times did we see a project which was planned for 6 months, but it lasted 2 years and did not deliver the expected results? How many times did we see that? Countless times. Countless times. Many, many, many times. Yes. However, why to blame the project manager all the time? If we don't want the project managers to be blamed, have a PMO, please. Have a PMO, please. Do it. Have it. Make sure you have the PMO in house, and that PMO will guarantee the reduction of the project's life cycle, commitment to budgets, delivering early results, etc. All right. Let's have a couple of questions, maybe. As the organization grows, we will have a break in few minutes. In few minutes, we will have a break. We will have a break in few minutes. As the organization grows, the PMO is increasingly asked to provide guidance at multiple levels. Project teams request day-to-day support for scheduling and reporting. Middle management seeks advice on resource allocation and risk management, and executives want insights for portfolio decisions and strategic alignment. You see, different needs from different customers. These are customers. Project teams are customers, maybe. Okay, middle management customers, executives are customers. Confusion arises because stakeholders are unsure which requests fall under which PMO service level. So, what should the PMO do to address this confusion effectively? Respond to each request individually without categorizing services, letting stakeholders learn through experience. You see, when I see that, I already know it's not probably the best answer, but we will see. Okay, focus only. When I see only, I know it's a wrong answer. I know it's a wrong answer. Focus only on operational and tactical support since executives rarely interact with PMO directly. I know it's wrong. Plus, executives they interact with PMO directly sometimes. Define and communicate the PMO's operational day-to-day support. This is for the project teams. Tactical project and program guidance. This is for the middle management. And strategic portfolio and organizational alignment services, including clear responsibilities and escalation paths. It makes sense. Provide generic guidelines. You see, when seeing the term generic, I know it's wrong. For all requests without differentiating between service levels, no, absolutely not. So the right answer is definitely answer C. Okay? All right. Good. So we're perfect. We're perfectly on time. It's 2039 GMT plus one. So far, we have covered the first three sections of this session. Please don't leave. Don't leave Microsoft Town Hall meeting because I fear that if you leave, you cannot come back. You cannot connect again. Please, because I don't know how the software works. Please don't leave. Stay on. Keep it open. Keep your Microsoft Teams open. Please don't leave the page. Okay, I don't want you to lose it. We're going to take a 15-minute break. 15-minute break. I'm staying on. I'm keeping this slide on. 15-minute break, and then we come back.
So let's continue with this free PMI PMOCP exam preparation training or course, if you may call it. Okay. So before the break, we completed the first three sections of this first chapter. Now we go on to talk now as the one of the main shifting points, okay, in the new definition of PMO by PMI, which is defining the PMO as a service provider. Okay, now the PMO has become a service provider, providing services to the different customers. Okay, customers of the PMO. Again, as we mentioned earlier, they can be project managers, different business units, operations teams, different departments like IT department, supply chain department, HR department, marketing department, can be clients also, okay, as mentioned. And of course, there can be different stakeholders. We'll talk about the difference between a stakeholder and a customer in a while. Okay. So in this section, to talk about the PMO as a service provider, we will define the PMO as a service provider, how to adopt a service provider mindset, which is interesting. It can be challenging for some PMOs to shift because to shift to becoming a service provider, the PMO needs to have the support from the organization. Okay, and also let's simplify it and call it infrastructure, okay, or like whatever is needed to become a service provider. Okay, what's the difference between a customer and a stakeholder? Being a customer centric PMO, okay, and the benefits it has got. What are the principles of a value driven PMO, and to be an adaptive PMO? Okay, how to be an adaptive PMO. All right. Now, a PMO as a service provider means that you when having a PMO, or you as a PMO leader, being a customer centric, providing customer centric services, you will not be providing the same services to all your customers. The needs of the project managers are different of those of the portfolio managers, and different of those of the business unit leaders, okay, and different of those of the different departments, okay, and divisions. So you as a service provider, you need to deliver tailored, please, underline this word, guys. Tailored, customer-centric services. Absolutely. Okay. As a service provider, you need to make sure that you contribute to improving the outcomes from the projects and businesses. The more improvement you will have, the higher your value as a PMO will be perceived. Okay, adapt to the different dynamics of the environments. We talked about this earlier with the chameleon. All right. You see, uh, we cannot have one image, one picture of one standard PMO. Companies in this world are of millions, and their needs are extremely different. Okay, of course, there can be some similarities, but there are so tremendous or numerous differences. So that's why we can give examples, but we cannot give one perfect image of a PMO because it doesn't exist. Okay, aligning resources. As a service provider, you need to align resources to ensure there is a maximum delivery of value. Okay, favor more adaptive approaches, more collaborative methods. Um, Operate with flexible and defined agreements. Okay, so here you as a service provider, by providing services to the different customers you have, whether internal or sometimes external, okay, but mostly internal customers, you're making sure that you're the wheel. You're one of the wheels the company uses for moving from current value to future expected or wanted value. Okay, and therefore we're shifting from a standard function based PMO to a customer centric service provider. Okay, this is the new mindset, the new shift. So when adopting a service provider mindset, the focus will be more on the customer. You ask your customer, what do you need? What do you want? So I can address your need. Okay. You focus on creating and delivering the value each customer needs. Okay. If your project manager needs like sophisticated templates and tools, provided to the project managers. Maybe the business units don't need the same tools or the same templates. Maybe they need more of a forecasting and performance measurement tools. So you provide them with that. You don't tell the project manager, you know what, I have this tool which I'm using with the business unit leads, so I'm giving it to you as well. That's all I have. No. No, you have to adapt to the needs of your customers. Okay, you need to have specialized expertise. Yes, of course. Since the beginning of this session, we were talking about PMOs, etc., like a fantasy. It's not a fantasy. When having people in house with a specialized expertise, with needs identification skills, and extensive and intensive knowledge in various project management office or project management areas, then you can have the right PMO with a service provider mindset. Okay, you can have defined service offerings, but then you will customize them. Okay, you need also to think of scalability. Okay, maybe the company in which you operate as a PMO now is a small company. What if it grows? Are you going to be capable to scale the services you provide? Maybe right now you have a small database for storing project documentation and a simple project management tool. But what if the organization grows and the needs grow? Now, how are you going to adapt that database, those tools, the governance you have in place to the different businesses your company is managing and is running? Okay, so how can you do that? Is it scalable? Did you prepare the infrastructure in advance? So you expected that in 1 or 2 or 3 years from now, maybe we will have more needs from different external customers, more projects, and even different types of projects. Okay? Are you proactively engaging your stakeholders? Now, this is one that is so important. Definitely not just for PMOs, for everyone in project management. Proactively engaging your stakeholders, keeping good relationships. Now, I don't mean good relationships by having friends. No, it's not about being friends. It's about like mutual respect, working together towards the goal, achieving the goal, and being open to whatever frustrations we have from each other, whatever disappointments, etc. Being able to measure performance, having different metrics in place, and continuously improve. Yes, as a service provider, as a PMO, even as a project manager, you need always to have the mindset of continuous improvement. It's not because right now in 2025 we have a very well established PMO, it's very well working, that we say, you know what, that's it, we don't need any more any more improvements. This will serve us for the next 10 years. No, no way. Small continuous improvement steps are very important. Okay. Now, what's the difference between a PMO customer and a PMO stakeholder? All right. Who can be PMO customers? We mentioned them earlier. We said that PMO customers can be project managers, delivery leaders, business unit leaders, department managers, even sometimes external customers. Okay, sometimes some of our external customers can be our external clients can be the PMO customers, different departments, different divisions, even operational teams. Yes, operational teams, they will need support. Definitely they will need service, not support, sorry, service delivered from the PMO one way or the other. Okay, so the PMO customers are whoever direct users. Whoever are direct users of the PMO services. Whoever uses the PMO services directly, that's a PMO customer. Okay, so they receive and utilize the PMO services, and they provide feedback to the PMO on those services for improvement for the future. Okay, so these are PMO customers. PMO stakeholders are anyone else who can be indirectly affected by the activities of the PMO. Like, for example, PMO, helps with resource utilization on projects. So, project managers are direct customers, but HR managers, they're not customers. They might not be getting any services from PMO for now, but they can be indirectly affected. Sorry, because PMO is, let's say, assigning resources, and that impacts HR. So those are going to be stakeholders. Then PMO will need to go talk to the HR, agree with them on the resources needed for the project management activities. See, HR is not a customer. They don't use any of the PMO services, but they're stakeholders. Okay, so stakeholders do not directly use the PMO services. Okay, however, they're in touch with the PMO. They are interested. Okay, they might collaborate, but they don't receive services. So any department, any function, any area of the company who uses any of the PMO services, which we already mentioned, the tactical services, the strategic services, the operational services, those are customers. Otherwise, if they're just following up with the PMO, being in touch with the PMO, they're stakeholders. So all customers are stakeholders, of course, by basic definition, but not all stakeholders are customers. Okay, so that's the difference between customer and stakeholder. Now, having a customer-centric PMO, what does it mean? And this is, by the way, from the PMO practice guide. It means having a customer-first mindset. Yes, let's look at this customer. What are their needs and what services like what PMO services we can offer to them. Do they need some coaching? Do they need some support, some forecasting, some reporting, some directly overtaking some projects? Do they need some risk identification? They setting up governance in place. What kind of service do they need? Do they need a strategic service, tactical service, operational service, etc.? So if you have a customer first mindset, then you would be able to deliver the value to them. You can have even a customized experience with that customer. Okay, you proactively interact with them, make sure that you measure their satisfaction. Okay, are we successful with this customer or not, so we can improve. Right now, this is the big difference, guys, between the old PMO and the new PMO. The PMO has become a service provider, and by the way, by being a service provider, that means you can serve everyone in the organization who needs your services, and it is no more just in project management. Really, it is no more just in project management. It can be almost any department, to any department, any area, and this is so different. Guys, I can tell you from my own experience. When I read the PMO practice guide, after I finished reading it, my first impression was, wow, wow, we needed this. We really needed this. This is such a huge shift. And the way we looked at PMOs, and the way we saw PMOs, and the way we defined PMOs, and the way we interacted with PMOs. I suffered for long. I suffered for long in some companies when, portfolio managers, program managers, even some business unit leads saw the PMO just as a support function. Now PMO has become a service provider. You tell me what are your needs. If you cannot tell me what are your needs, I can use different techniques to identify your needs so I can prepare the service for you. We will see that in the value ring, in the flywheel. We see that. So I can, design the service for you, deliver it to you, make sure it delivered value. Okay? So having a customer-centric PMO can increase satisfaction, have higher success rates on different initiatives, even better collaboration. Guys, believe me, it's from experience. It's really from my own experience. This will bring better collaboration among different customers, different stakeholders, different people involved in the different areas of project management or even outside of project management. Okay, having a customer-centric PMO means we have an increased agility, because agility means you can adapt with whatever your customers' needs are. Okay, and in whatever context. And that's the smart thing about it. Okay, enhancing relationships and greater for value delivery. All right, of course. When we talked about agility in the PMO, we mainly meant adaptability, which is based, on the Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto, which is, I call it the four words which change the world. Really, four words have changed the world. Okay, and I'm almost certain that somehow this Agile Manifesto is behind the
industry for the apparition or the inception or the appearance of the Industry 4.0, the Industry 4.0. What's the Agile Manifesto about? The Agile Manifesto was created in 2001, February 2001, by 17 people who work mainly in software industry, mainly, and who thought that the traditional project management methodologies did not respond enough to their growing needs, evolving needs, to the nature of the software industry. So they said that, yes, we value having processes and tools in the waterfall approaches, the traditional approaches, but we prefer more to focus on people, individuals, and the interactions between them in a proper work environment. Waterfall, traditional approaches, they use a lot of comprehensive documentation. Okay. There's a template for every process. There is a full plan for every part of the project. We prefer to focus on working products, delivering functioning working product increments. Okay. So instead of every month calling the customer to provide them with a presentation on the update, no, we prefer to provide them with at the end of each month or each cycle, to provide them with a working functional increment. Okay. Also, instead of spending a lot of time on contract negotiation, wasting time on contracts, we prefer to collaborate with the customer, bring them closer to us. The customer can, be close to us, try early the product, provide feedback so it can improve, etc. And instead of following a rigid plan, okay, we prefer to be, adaptive, welcoming changes, open to changes at any point of the project. Okay, so this Agile Manifesto definitely is behind one of the main reasons why PMO also now having this adaptive mindset. Okay, so this way PMO, can have or can focus on ensuring early continuous delivery of value, embracing changing requirements, working on having incremental frequent delivery, daily collaboration between different roles, let's say. Okay, having motivated cross-functional teams, direct communication over documentation, being a value-driven success, sustain operations and learning. Yes, absolutely. Thriving towards technical excellence and innovation. Embracing simplicity. All right, empowering teams to self-organize. That's a very important one, and have a regular self-assessment. Now, let me tell you, in the PMI PMOCP, there was not direct questions about the Agile Manifesto, Agile practices. I don't remember really. I don't recall any question like that. But yeah, the practices, they are manifested. The practices from the Agile mindset, they're manifested, through different questions. Yeah, different questions like the direct approach, the communication, being adaptive, focusing on value delivery, having direct approach to resolving conflicts, etc. That's pretty good. Okay, let's have a question. You're leading a PMO initiative to standardize project reporting across departments. One senior stakeholder known for being resistant to change, and that happens a lot, like, having a stakeholder who resists any change, openly criticizes the new reporting framework during meetings, claiming it adds unnecessary complexity. They have significant influence over other stakeholders, and their resistance is slowing the adoption. Okay, standardizing the reporting across departments. So now, what is the most effective way to address the stakeholders' concerns and gain their support? Now, many questions. The PMI PMOCP certification exam were exactly about such similar situations. Schedule a private meeting to understand their concerns and demonstrate how the framework aligns with organizational goals. That's very good. Direct approach, private, not in front of others, addressing their concerns, understanding them. Avoid, we don't avoid. Avoid engaging with them to prevent further criticism and focus on more supportive stakeholders. No, we don't avoid. If there is an issue, we address it. Issue a directive from senior leadership mandating. See, in PMI's mindset, mandating is bad. Forcing is bad. Obliging is bad. We avoid such answers. Okay, mandating adherence to the new framework, that's use of power. It's not really the best approach here. Respond publicly. No, no, no. We don't respond publicly in the next meeting by countering their points to clarify your position. We don't do that in public. No, we don't do that. No, 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 no. That creates tension. No, no, no. That puts people, at a very unease or uncomfortable situation. We don't do that. Please, no. Do it in private. Talk to them, understand their concerns, and then work towards, having mutual agreement. Okay. All right. One more question. A PMO leader as a PMO leader, and that's what most of the questions that the PMI PMOCP exam will be. Most of the questions will be about this. As a PMO leader, here's your situation. What would you do? Always, as a PMO leader. That's why I'm talking to you guys. You're a PMO leader. So you being a PMO leader, what would you do? So as a PMO leader, you're supporting project managers in resolving conflicts that arise during project planning. Two project managers are in a heated dispute over resource allocation for their respective projects. One argues their project will significantly boost the organization's revenue, while the other insists their project aligns closely with strategic objectives. Wow, that's an interesting situation. Two different project managers, each one of them is arguing with the other one. What's the most effective way to resolve this conflict? Decide independently as the PMO leader and recommend how resources should be allocated. Escalate, you know what? When you see escalate, avoid it. Okay, we try to avoid escalation as much as possible. You need to resolve it by yourself as a PMO leader. Escalate the issue to senior management for resolution. I don't think so. Arrange a mediation session to explore common goals and negotiate resource allocation. All right. Advise the project managers to split the resources equally. To avoid further conflict. I don't think so. I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should escalate. Deciding independently, no. We should, collaborate. Let's bring these project managers into a meeting room. Let's talk to them, explore common ground for understanding, negotiate. Negotiate means communicate directly, use interpersonal soft skills in order to, get opinions aligned. All right? Yeah, reach an agreement. We do that, right? Good. So we just finished this section of the PMO as a service provider. Now, this is about you guys. This section, 1.5, is about you, the leaders, the PMO leader, the leadership and competency framework. Okay, in this section we will look at the core competencies of the PMO leaders, you guys who will be taking the exam, the roles of the PMO leader, adapting leadership competencies to different unique PMOs, exploring the PMO competency domain, aligning core competencies with PMO services, and how you can design your own PMO. Okay, this section is about you because I told you the PMI PMOCP certification exam, all the questions ask you how to behave, how to act as a PMO leader. It's like in the PMP exam, how you should act as a project manager. Okay, all right. So what are the core competencies of a PMO leader? Of course, the name tells it. The name says it. It's a leader. We need to have leadership, team building. Okay, so what's leadership about? Well, there are different types of leadership. Okay, you can be a servant leader, you can be charismatic leader, you can be a transformational leader, you can be different types of leaders. Okay, and you're definitely you're going to deal with different customers. Okay, stakeholders as well. You're going to need to adapt your leadership style to the different personalities, different contexts, etc. And you will be someone who will be focusing on team building a team, because being a PMO leader, it doesn't mean you're acting alone. Like when you say the project manager, does it mean you're alone on the project? No. So core competencies, leadership, team building, having a value-driven focus. Guys, let me tell you this. I know, it's easy to put on paper. What's value driven? Value driven means you need to know which value is your customer looking for. And let me tell you this. Knowing your customer's values, yeah, in general, in plural, identify them, that could take time. And you will learn through the time as well, okay? Because, maybe a business unit lead is looking for specific value, you need to maybe have a focus meeting with them, a focus group meeting with them to better understand their needs and respond to them. Because when people are on a higher leadership level, their needs are different than those on a lower leadership level, for example. You also need to have strategic thinking. The general view from the company's side, company's point of view, then going down to probably the tactical and operational level. Okay. Oh yes, communication skills. Now you might argue that. You might tell me, no, Ahmed, everyone needs communication skills. Yes, of course, everyone needs communication skills. Not just PMO leader, project manager, program manager, business unit leader, team leader. Everyone needs communication skills. Are they really applying it? Is everyone applying it? Anyway, we're just reminding you. Even if you know project management, we're reminding you. Okay. Now we're just assuming that you're new to project management. That's why, not sorry, not new to project management, new to this certification. That's why we need to, take it in general. Being able to make decision. Okay, having skills and abilities to make the right decision after analyzing. We don't take quick decisions. We don't take rushed decisions. We don't want to regret later on. We need to make informed decisions. Okay. Ethical judgment. Yeah. Okay. PMI just updated their code of ethics recently, and still, it's profession ethics, guidelines ethics, etc. And having innovation and creativity, being able to innovate and be creative. All right. So these are core competencies of leaders: being innovative and creative, because you really sometimes need to improve the PMO model, improve your service catalog. You're going to have a catalog of services. Okay. Yes, like literally a catalog. Yeah. Like you go to a shop which sells clothes and you ask them for a catalog. Yes, we're talking about a catalog. Yeah, maybe not printed, maybe online catalog. I used to remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I used to have, for example, different functions in the organization, and they were having their service catalogs. And we need to look at their services, like the IT service catalog. So IT departments used to have service catalog. So they were providing service, IT is in the probably the heart of every department. So different departments, different needs. So they had different catalog. They had a service catalog which explained to us their different services. So the PMO is the same. They will have their service catalog. All right. Now, as a PMO leader, of course, you need to make sure that you establish a strategic vision. Okay, on the PMO service delivery. Okay, how is that going to contribute to achieving the company's strategy and be aligned with it? Build a high performing team, or by high performing teams. You're not alone. You're not alone in your PMO. There are people in the PMO. Okay, the project management office. And the project management office isn't just you as a PMO leader, but the certification addresses you, but you have a team with you. So you need to have a high performing team. And what about the other functions and areas in the project management office, like projects, helping project managers have high performing teams. Okay. Engaging customers and positively guiding them. Here is it an influence. I would say positive guidance. Okay. Ensuring governance and compliance. Okay. Driving continuous improvement, adapting to change, monitoring, reporting performance, and making sure that you champion the best project management practices. Okay, and of course, fostering a culture of excellence. Now, if you think that some of these we have already seen them and they are repeating, it's a coherence. And again, remember this first chapter, introduction chapter, we try to take it from different angles to try to install such words, such keywords, such practices in your mind, so then you can have an easy exam. You pass it successfully, the PMI PMOCP exam. Okay. Now, how to adopt leadership competencies to unique PMOs. Okay, a PMO professional can have different competencies like development planning, setting smart goals for the short and the long term goals and growth. Okay, being able to improve learning opportunities, pursuing training, certifications, projects and events. Okay, that will help adapt your skills and competencies, using getting feedback. I know welcoming feedback using 360-degree feedback for self-review to improve. Okay, having assessments, evaluating skills through different tools and feedbacks, and also identifying gaps. Okay, if there are gaps, and this about identifying gaps, there are a few questions about this in the exam because you might be missing some skills in some competencies. This creates gaps in the services you're delivering, so you need to improve those gaps, cover them in order to improve um, your the achievement of your goals, your skills to better achieve your goals. Okay. Um, your main competency domains. Now we're going to explore the PMO's competency domains. You have three competency domains: design your services, whatever you're going to offer, design your PMO, operation, like doing it, offering it, delivering it, okay, and then improve. Now we cannot survive without improving. We cannot. We have to improve to be able to survive. Okay, for the design, like uh, designing domain, like establishing foundation for PMO service delivery by having structured design and development. These services should be strategically aligned with the organizational objectives and the stakeholder expectations. Of course, you need to define the scope of the services, the structure of the services, and the processes for your PMO service offerings. You need to focus on creating some standardized frameworks and methodologies, but which are ready to to be customized according to the needs. Okay, this will lay the groundwork for effective and sustainable PMO operations. So really, imagine all of this team as a PMO, and they're starting to lay the foundation for the services, defining the catalog, how to understand their customer needs so they can better provide suited and customized services. For the operational domain, this is managing the daily execution and coordination of the PMO services. You need to ensure that the services are delivered according to the needs, according to the plans, established plans, standards, and expected quality, and acceptance criteria. Try to be consistent, efficient, rely on the delivery of value to stakeholders. All right. You need to make sure that you use the resources properly, you track the performance, you resolve the issues, and you maintain operational discipline to support the project and program success. And then you work on improvements, okay, enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of PMO services using performance data, stakeholders' feedback to identify improvement opportunities, exactly. And then you take action. You maybe adapt to the processes, you refine them, you optimize the service quality, you try to promote a culture of having a continuous learning approach and innovation. So then you have ongoing alignment of your services with the evolving organizational needs of and strategies, and especially the needs of your customers. There were many questions about this in the PMI PMOCP exam, and if you remember this mindset, like offering what your offering services according to your customer needs, then improving, that's that will guarantee your success in the exam. Okay, so here are an alignment of the core competencies with the PMO services. Okay, for the we talked about the strategic services earlier. Okay, like executive advisory, to executive board, for example, providing forecasting on strategic initiatives, etc. All right. Here, key competencies needed for such service: having business acumen, having strategic thinking, being able to strategically influence, understanding and knowing what's going out there, being able to have a benchmark maybe with the different industries to understand what's going on in this industry, in other companies, how they're what are their best practices, having really high level of communication and integrity. Okay, be very responsible for what you're doing. The outcome, of course, is having aligned initiatives with the organizational vision and enhanced strategic decision making. For the tactical services, which we mentioned earlier, we saw them earlier.
Okay, like for example, managing knowledge, providing training, development. That's a tactical service. Okay, key competencies. For you to have as a PMO leader is collaboration skills, being able to organize and lead training and continuous improvement. Of course, the outcome, of course, is to have more learning opportunities, knowledge sharing, whether knowledge bases or the culture of knowledge sharing itself. Because in some companies, knowledge sharing culture is missing. Being adaptable and innovative. That's on a tactical level. For operational services like audits, for example, those are operational, auditing the projects, the project's outcomes, the project's compliance, etc., assuring quality. These are operational services, quality of deliverables, of course, of the projects, okay, and the different other components. Key competencies for operational services to have as a PMO leader is attention to detail. Okay, you need that. Being objective as well. And the outcome, of course, is unbiased evaluations, maybe process improvements, and definitely reaching operational excellence. Okay, so you see this in this slide, we are linked between the different services the PMO offers with the key competencies you need to have as a PMO leader. Okay, and this will be the result. And by the way, in the PMI PMOCP exam, questions are situational, them situational. Not even one single definition um, uh, question, all of them. And it puts you in real situations that companies encounter really. All right. So if we want to map the core competencies, the different domains, all right, like the design, operation, and improvement domain, we can talk about different competencies. Like, you can have as a PMO leader, like accuracy, being accurate in data collection, etc. How is it applied to domain to design? Okay, here being accurate in design by defining clear service requirements, having clear service requirements. Being accurate in operations when you are in operations as a PMO leader, like by ensuring consistent delivery of quality, and being accurate when it comes to improvement, like relying on data in order to identify improvement areas. Adaptability, that's another competency for PMO leaders. Adaptability in design, okay, by developing flexible service models according to the needs of the customers. Adaptability in operation by adapting to different changes coming from the customers, changing in their needs, their expectations. And for improvement, being adaptive by applying feedback, getting feedback, applying it, and checking the emerging trends by doing some benchmarking. For example, you need to have analytical skills. You need it in the design because you need to use data to guide the design decisions. Okay, you need it in operations for to monitor performance metrics, and you need to have analytical skills, for improvement to identify trends for optimization. Okay, business acumen. I think that's a strong one. That's the main focus now in PMI's mindset in most certifications. Okay, business acumen when you're designing the services, you need to manage the customer disagreements in planning. All right, whatever they're disagreeing in business, in operations, resolving delivery issues, and when improving, reconciling, offering different views on changes. For collaboration skill competency by for design by co-creating service requirements with customers, in operations by coordinating the different teams to have effective delivery, and for improvement by engaging the different cross-functional teams for enhancements. Okay, you need also to have strong communication skills to communicate, in design, to communicate the service concepts clearly. Okay, in operations, so you can share regular performance updates and improvement, so you can present improvement proposals effectively. Okay, you need to know how to communicate that. You need to have conflict resolution skills, competencies during design, so you can align service design with strategy. For operations, ensure service delivery. Sorry, I think they're swapped actually. Business acumen is more about align service design with strategy, For operations, ensure service is delivering value, and for improvement, recommending enhancements aligned with goals. For conflict resolution, is managing disagreements, resolving issues, and reconciling views on changes. Okay, apologies for that. It's being swapped. Okay, for continuous improvement, of course, relying on feedback loops in service design. In operations, identifying incremental improvement opportunities, and for improvement itself by having advanced service maturity and measuring progress. You also need to have cultural awareness during design to integrate different cultural factors into service design. In operations, to adapt delivery to diverse contexts, and for improvements to apply cultural insights to different enhancements, especially in large organizations which have multicultural teams. All right. You need to also have a customer focus, a competency during design, so you can base your service design on customer needs. During operations, so you can deliver responsive, satisfying services, and during improvements, so you can get feedback in order to enhance. You need to have decision-making skills or competencies. First, to make strategic design decisions. For in operations, to act decisively, take the right decisions, right informed decisions during delivery, because there will be a lot of setbacks during delivery. You need to know when to take which decision, and during improvement is to know which enhancements to prioritize. Okay, for interpersonal intelligence, well, quite interesting one. Okay, during the design, you need to understand your customers' emotions, your customers' needs. Yes, apply emotional intelligence. Yes, that's called interpersonal intelligence. All right, it's like more broader, like it's broader. Okay, during operations, so you can manage relationships during delivery, and for improvement, so you can navigate emotions during change process. Okay, so yeah, that's important. Sometimes you get the pushback. Okay, people refusing to improve, so you need to know how to get them along. All right, you need to have also integrity and ethics during design, so you can ensure ethical considerations and design of your PMO services. During operations, so you can maintain ethics or ethical standards and delivery. All right, I think that's a major one. Honestly, I have had a few of my colleagues who were PMO. They were really ethical. They did not bypass any processes. They were so transparent. They were supporting everyone. I appreciated that really. Being integral, having integrity and ethics. Okay, and this helped with improvement, like upholding integrity. So we really can take it responsibly, and improve whatever we need to improve. You need to have innovation competencies, okay? So you can develop novel service concepts, new ones. Why not? Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Sorry, don't be scared. Try new things. During operations, like the delivery itself, implement creative solutions in delivery. Yes, and for improvement, generate some great innovative ideas. Have your idea log with your team, log in there, whatever improvements you think of having and doing, and do it. Now have your enhancements. Of course, leadership. That's what you do. Okay, you need to be able to guide the vision of the design of new services. During delivery, the operations, you need to inspire the PMO team. Okay, and for improvement, you need to know how to lead the change. That's a challenge. Believe me, guys. And please remember it. On slide 81, I told you, leading a change, that's a challenge. You need to have strong leadership skills and apply different leadership styles. Okay, sometimes being servant leader, sometimes charismatic, to inspire by storytelling, sometimes transformational, sometimes I don't know if want to be autocratic. Okay, etc. Negotiation, that's a key competency. Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, you need it to balance customer interests in design. During your delivery, negotiate the resources for improvement. You need to gain buy-in again. That's part, related to leadership and leading the change. Okay, dealing with the resistance, negotiating, objectivity. Oh, that's a very good competency. Okay, being impartial when you're designing. In operations, you should be able to evaluate performance without bias. You know what? I like this project manager. I like this team. You know what? I'm going to improve their data. Those people are not doing well for the past 2 years. You know what? I put bad data there in there, so I can get rid of them. No, we don't do that. And also objectivity in improvement. Select the areas for improvement objectively. You need to be proactive. Let me tell you a secret, guys. I think I have said this many times. For people who know me, I've said this many times in my training, in my courses, in my videos. Proactivity is what saved me many times in my projects. Anticipating. Anticipating without waiting, acting proactively, taking preventive actions in advance or taking effective actions in advance. So you need that in design to anticipate what kind of future state they need during delivery, addressing potential issues early. And for improvement, why not initiate some enhancements proactively? Don't sit and wait and say, I think my team will propose it. I don't need to propose it myself. No, propose it proactively, please. Okay. You also need to have problem solving skills. You need it during the design to address challenges, okay, in different service conceptualization. During delivery, you need to resolve issues. Issues arise all the time. You will face a lot of situations where the customer says, I'm not satisfied with this service. You thought that you have designed the right service for them. But you know what? During delivery, no, they refuse it. They don't accept it. Or they say it's underperforming. It's not performing as expected. Yes, you will see that a lot. So you know what? You need to have some problem solving skills. How? Identify or analyze the root cause. Identify the gap between what you have offered versus what they expected. That can help you, okay? And problem solving skills can help you tackle complex problems for enhancement. You also need to have, oh yeah, that's your core. That's the fundamental skill you needed to have as a PMO leader. Believe me, process management. Can you design efficient PMO service processes? Can you? You will, of course, you will get it through experience, through time. But we are equipping you with at least the knowledge you need to having that competency, designing processes. We will see that, okay, further. All right. During operations, you need to ensure that your processes are functioning smoothly. They're not blocking each other. And you always need to, seek the optimization of the processes in order to have better delivery. Project management, I think we can also say that the foundation of what you do. You need to have, you need to know what kind of new services to implement, provide the right project management services in operation, and always try to improve and enhance different services. Okay. Relationship building. Oh, yes, that has become a competency. Yes, I know. I know. Before, we never thought competencies were a thing. I know. Guys, I know. But now it has become a competency and we are teaching it. And it's key competency in my eyes. For me, it's a key competency for keeping relationships. It's part of engagement, communication, etc. Okay? So you need to establish connections to know which, service to, to engage your people and get information from them, your stakeholders. So you can then, in operations, maintain strong relationships during delivery. And then also you try to collaborate with the customer for enhancements. Resilience, yes, being persistent through challenges in development. And in operations, trying to adapt to obstacles so you can, survive. And for improvements, you try to overcome any resistance in change to enhancements. Risk management is also a competency for PMO leaders. You need to, during the design, you need to identify potential risks in design. During operations, you need to mitigate risks during delivery. Okay, that happens a lot. Okay, risks and certain events, they can happen, they might not happen. You need to identify them early, deal with them during operations, and always assess your risk process. Okay, so you can have improvements. Stakeholder engagement, I touched on this a little bit. Okay, engage your stakeholders during design so you can understand their needs, manage their expectations during delivery, and always involve them for any improvement initiatives. Strategic influence, I like this one. Yes, it's a new one. I know, I like it. Okay, when you're designing, we need to get support for any new service concepts. Well, you know what?
it means we need to have some good influence. During operations, we need to make sure that we promote the value of ongoing services. You see, I remember the PMI PMOCP exam. There were there were two questions, I think, or three about stakeholders or customers doubting the need for a PMO, and the question asks you what to do. So the right answer was demonstrate your value. Okay, show that you're really bringing value, and for improvement, you need to advocate for any necessary service enhancements. Strategic thinking. I didn't. We did not touch on this, right? Now, strategic thinking. Okay, that's strategic influence, strategic thinking during design to align your service design with long-term goals. Good one. That's a good right way. That's a right way of thinking. During operations, ensuring the delivery supports future, current and future strategic objectives. And for improvement, always identify improvements to enhance the PMO value proposition. Okay, the PMO, what is the PMO proposing? What's your value proposition as a PMO? All right. What are the pains you're relieving your customers from in your value proposition? What are the gains you're promising them of gaining? That's your value proposition. Okay. We will see that in the flywheel. Okay. In the next two sessions. Teamwork. Yes, of course. As a PMO leader, you need to, during the design, to collaborate with different teams on the service design. During operations, foster teamwork during delivery. Okay. Create that harmony between the team members, and always support your team with anything they need. Okay, like training, coaching, mentoring, and for improvement, always work on improving initiatives. Time management, yes, during the design, meeting deadlines for the design development. You don't want to be late. During operations, make sure that your services are delivered on time. And during improvement, for improvement, sorry, you need to balance improvement efforts with operations. And finally, you need to have training skills. Okay, during design, make sure you develop the training plans, the appropriate appropriate training plans for onboarding of your team members during operations, or onboarding the service, sorry, onboarding the service. During operations, provide ongoing training during delivery as a support, for the team. And during improvement, train the teams on any new processes or tools they're using. Okay, so these are your core competencies, as a PMO leader, and how they're applying to different domains. The three domains we have: the design domain, the operation domain, and the improvement domain. Okay, so how to design your PMO? I think this is the last slide in this section. Okay, how to design your PMO? What are the recommended practices? Tailor the services to the organization needs. Boom. That's perfect. Pick the model and then tailor it. Okay. Use flexible context driven structure. Absolutely. All right. Be adaptive to the context. Be flexible. Check what they really need and deliver it. And be adaptive in order to maintain relevance. You cannot be rigid. You cannot just say, well, that's the service I have. That's it. Which translates to, those are my only tools, my only templates. I cannot innovate. I cannot improve. I cannot adapt. I cannot benchmark. That's it. No, no. You need to have an adaptive approach and continuously improve your service catalog. What you need to avoid: relying on strictly predefined or strict and predefined PMOs, types or models. You say, oh, I used to work in that company 10 years ago. We used to have this model of PMO. It worked there. So it must work in our new company or this new No, no, absolutely not. You should not copy any other PMOs without assessing its fit to your company's needs. And don't follow trends blindly. Sometimes there are some emerging trends. Yes, correct. We all love emerging trends. We all want to have the best practices. However, what if the emerging trends are not fit for your company's needs? Okay? Good. Let's have a question. During a PMO competency development planning session, so we're planning for the development of the PMO competency. Okay, the team discusses how competencies required for each PMO function may vary in importance. Was the correct approach regarding the relevance of competencies in different PMO functions? All competencies required for the PMO are equally important regardless of the function. The relevance of competencies does not depend on the PMO function, as technical competencies are always more important than behavioral competencies. Really? Strategic competencies are more important for all PMO functions, while operational and tactical competencies are of little relevance. The same competency can have different levels of relevance depending on PMO function, whether strategic, tactical, or operational, and that's the right answer. Yes, of course. We cannot, give more importance to functional over strategic. We cannot say no, strategic are more important than operational and tactical, and we cannot say no, all of them are equally important. No. We have to, the same competency can have different levels of relevance depending on the PMO function, whether it's strategic, tactical, or operational. And now we arrive to the last section of today's session. I repeat, the last section of this chapter, and it's the last part of today's session. Okay? We are ending at 10:30 p.m. GMT plus one, or even a little bit earlier. Okay? Because we need to finish in exactly 10 hours of training. So here, in this last section of this chapter, we're going to talk about PMO maturity. Okay, we're going to have an overview of PMO service maturity, different maturity, the PMO maturity level, the difference between, and please remember this because this is a little bit confusing. OPM, which is organizational project management, and its maturity versus the project management office and maturity. Organizational project management, that's how project management is being applied in the organization. Okay. Calculating PMO service maturity level. All right. And how to enhance the OPM capabilities and maturity, and then looking at the dynamic nature of organizational culture and maturity. Okay, so we'll have just 10 more slides or 11 more slides before we end this session. So please focus with us, everyone. I think there is a code everyone wants. I think you will see the code soon. Stay with us, guys. Now let's go talk about the maturity. I remember the PMI PMOCP exam. There were, I think, 3 questions about maturity, maybe a little more. Okay, so yes, and I think it makes sense to measure, to assess maturity. I think we do it for most of the functions and areas. Okay, so how can we know, or can we assess or measure the PMO service maturity, right? So a very, very basic function. How efficient is the service? How is it aligned with the customer needs, and how effective or efficient is it in responding to the customer needs? That will give us PMO maturity. Absolutely. Efficiency of the service, alignment with the needs, the more efficient, the more aligned, the more mature, right? Now, the PMO maturity model, it goes through, the following steps. Now, first, we assess the service maturity using, for example, surveys, surveys with the customers. We interview the customers. We even can, track metrics. We talked about those earlier. Then, we identify gaps, and we compare them with the desired goals. All right, what gaps we have and what we offer versus what they expect, what the PMO offers, and what the customers expect. And then we need to prioritize the biggest, most important, and most impactful gaps. We prioritize them. We can use Pareto, for example, okay, as a tool. 80-20, 20% of the gaps which have 80% of the impact, they're prioritized. And then we need to plan improvement actions. Okay, we set clear initiatives, success metrics to make sure that we really are going to succeed in such improvement. Because if we don't put success metrics, we don't know if we're going to succeed in the improvement or not. And then we execute the plans with a strong change management skills, okay, to be able to really be on top of that improvement plan, and adapt with anything on the way, okay? And then we monitor the progress, okay? We adjust as needed, and of course we will report later on, and then make sure that this maturity assessment is on ongoing basis. It's going to be once in 3 months, once in a year, once in 6 months. It really depends. All right. So this is I think the PMO maturity model, how it goes step by step, right? Let's have let's understand how to calculate the PMO service maturity level and have an example. Okay, so first of all, for the PMO, we need to list all the strategic services, the tactical services, and the operational services which you will provide. Then you're going to assign a maturity score from 1 to 5, where 1 being low maturity and 5 high maturity. You assign maturity score to each service based on predefined criteria. So we go back here and we will, interview. We will interview the different stakeholders, maybe have some surveys, assessment surveys, etc. So we can then see how our, service is being rated. Okay, so we can understand their maturity level. Then we sum the scores of all the strategic, tactical, and operational services, and then based on the total possible points we could get, then we can just simply divide them and multiply by 100. I think with this example you'll understand. So we will start by listing the services, the strategic services being provided. Here we chose portfolio management, governance oversight, and strategic planning support. This is why, guys, you need to go back to those tables. In some of the tables, we saw the services being provided. So we saw that. Okay. Okay. So we pick the strategic services, these three. Then we're going to assign maturity score from 1 to 5 to each service based on different, based on this, assessing the maturity using surveys, interviews, different metrics, etc. So we think that in terms of portfolio management, we're 4. We get 4. For governance oversight, we get 3, and for strategic planning support, we get 5. So that's step 2. Step 3, we add the points. So we have 4 plus 3 plus 5, that's 12. We could possibly get maximum of 15, because we could get 5 for each service. 5 times the 3 services, that's 15. And therefore we compute the maturity percentage, which is 12 divided by 15 times 100, that's 80%. So our current 3 strategic services, they're 80% mature. Okay, so this is how you can calculate your service maturity. All right. Now, comparing between the organizational project management maturity and the PMO maturity. Okay, we talked about definition of organizational project management. That's the project management the organization adapts and uses. So OPM maturity, it reflects, okay, on the organization's overall project management capability. Okay, how it's using project management and implementing it, and the enterprise-wide project management integration. But however, whereas PMO maturity, it measures the effectiveness and impact of the PMO services. Remember, services, okay, and that's why we should not confuse between PMO services and organizational project management. Okay, and the PMO maturity, it emphasizes the delivery of the targeted value to projects and customers. All right, so both OPM and PMO are essential. Both are tailored, and both they can be improved. All right. So how to enhance the OPM capability, the organizational project management capabilities? Okay, it's almost the same mindset, same structure. Assess the current OPM capabilities against the desired future state. Of course, we will assess to identify the gap. Then identify and prioritize key capabilities to improve, and then implement a capability enhancement plan. This same process mindset is applicable in different business areas, not just in OPM or PMO. Okay. And in order to enhance the organizational project management maturity level, so we assess the OPM maturity, we create the roadmap for improvement, we define KPIs so we can track progress, we close the skill gaps through training, of course, delivering training, ensuring the training organized and delivered. The PM will ensure that, and also we can do benchmarking against industry standards, so we can then, try to follow or copy the best practices in terms of organizational project management, which means which project management approaches or how is project management applied in the organization wide. Okay. Is it important to understand organizational culture and project management maturity? Oh yes, because by understanding the organizational culture, what it needs, what are the expectations, having mature project management, both uh, understanding culture of the organization, having mature project management, both really can lead to having a successful PMO. Absolutely. Right? And with this, we're almost done. So, I think that this is almost the last slide. So the organizational culture and maturity, it is dynamic. So we need to look at at the nature of the organizational culture and maturity, because organizational culture, it can, impact the PMO implementation. So PMO must evolve with the changing cultural values, because a company in 2026 is not going to operate with the same values, mindset, and views, and as it used to be in 2016 or 2010. And that's the mistake many companies are fallen into. Okay. Also, any organizational maturity shifts, it requires PMO updates. For example, um, if the organization changed leadership, or they changed focus, instead of operating in this business, this industry, they will change the industry, or they will diversify their services, or if they're expanding to new regions. All of that means there is an organizational shift, okay, or shifts, including maturity. That means PMO should also adapt to that. Okay. Monitoring culture and maturity to anticipate issues. Yes. For example, maybe your organization's culture was before risk averse. So, like, your company wasn't taking any risks at all. They were very risk averse. Okay, refusing to make any investments, or starting any projects in any risky area. But right now, because of the changes in technology, in markets, in business cultures, so the culture of the company changed, and therefore you as a PMO need to adapt. Okay, if the company now is more risk tolerant, you need to adapt to that. Okay, you cannot just say, no, but we used to be risk averse. What happened now? Why are we doing this? No, you need to adapt that. You need, as a PMO, to adapt your project selection criterias, your business case preparation models, your processes, your tools, your reporting, your forecasting. Maybe right now, because of the change in the culture and the maturity, we need more sophisticated and instant forecasting tools, etc. Okay, so being a flexible PMO, this would support the new priorities of your organization. Okay, in case they change priorities, and being adaptive. That means you can maintain engagement and deliver value. Now, these are mindset points. We always go back to those tables, the tables of the different types of services linked to strategic, tactical, operational services, and which in which domain to have them in portfolios, in programs, in projects. And you, as a PMO leader, what kind of skills you need to have, or competencies you need to have, in order to succeed in that. Right? Good. Let's have a question before we have the tips and tricks of this chapter. So, your organization's PMO has been in place for several years. Recently, it started offering more advanced portfolio analysis. So, see, let's go back to the question. So, we have a PMO in place for several years, and now it started offering more advanced portfolio analysis, aligning services with business strategy, and improving governance processes, all while maintaining its existing set of services. So, okay. So, which of the following best reflects how PMO maturity evolves in this scenario? So, obviously, there is some evolvement here. When PMO increase the amount of functions performed, when PMO functions become more sophisticated, whether operational, tactical, or strategic, when the PMO ceases to be operational and becomes increasingly strategic, no, because PMO can be all, actually. When organizational maturity, project management evolves, actually, PMO maturity evolves it has evolved to this scenario because it's been in place. The PMO has been in place for several years. Now it's offering more advanced services. Okay, that means the PMO functions have become more sophisticated on both, or actually on operational service, or for operational services, tactical and strategic. Okay, because advanced portfolio analysis, strategic, aligning services with business strategy, again, yeah, improving governance overall, that's more on tactical, okay, and also some operational service. So that's why the right answer is B. It's not, it doesn't become mature because of the amount of functions performed, neither because it ceases to, neither because, there is more maturity in project management. So we are